everyone! Did you know Chumbawamba is super based? Found that out today. Welcome to Tinfoil Wednesday. How's everyone doing? I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. We are in for a cavalcade of conspiracy nonsense. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna go a little extra longer today because I missed yesterday. I wasn't feeling very good. Work was very long. Someone puked at work. What a nightmare. Anyway, how's everyone doing? The person was not me, by the way. I want to point that out. So yeah. Hope everyone's doing good. Sorry I haven't been here the last few days, but I'll be here for the rest of the week. If you missed it, we are doing the anime and puppet streams this week. Tomorrow will be the anime stream, and Friday will be the puppet stream. So, yeah, get ready for that. That'll be fun. Hello, Amber. How's it going? We are on a hype train already. Incredible. By the way, if you want to help support the show, I would really appreciate tips. It's the early part of the month. Some stuff came out. The internet's due. You know how it is. So if you're wanting to help, tips would be cool. But no pressure. Hey Trey, how's it going? Nemesaur, thanks for 41 months. Amber Pretzels, thanks for 32 months with Prime. Let's see. Lucas Dawn, thank you so much for 44 months. Says one more month for the 5th sub, baby. I am great with child. Toriador says, hi, looking for tricks to make all this raw milk I brought last longer. I found boiling it at a 195 for a minute and then putting it in a sealed container and then refrigerating it makes it last way longer. Louis Pasteur's Twitter, circa 1895 or whatever fucking year he figured that out. Ashley One Up says, can I get a happy birthday? I turn 39 in a couple of days. Happy early birthday. Tell me that day too. I will also wish you happy birthday then. Ferris Hex, thanks for 37 months, says, perfect timing, I need this stream. Good. I'm glad to be a distraction. I know a lot of people talk about this political stuff directly. It might come up in passing, but I'm happy to be a place right now where we can get away from that stuff. Because life might be a nightmare, but this stream sure isn't. I don't know. Anyway, Androbla, thanks for 23 months, says, you've got to watch a clip of Nishijo during anime stream. Very silly comedy that's not creepy at all. Interesting. Mr. Duck Sauce with a 3-stream streak says, fucking flat earthers. 55% level 2 on a hype train. We caught up. I did it. Hey, Just a Peach, how's it going? There was a hydrate from earlier. Let me get that done. That's from Jay's a Proxy. Thank you. I do need the hydration. Wrapped up like a baked potato today, so I will need the moisture. Doodle Stargazer, thank you so much for 12 months. Happy 1st anniversary. Halloween Town says, it's my birthday tomorrow. Can I get an early birthday too? Yes, you can. Happy birthday. Thank you so much. Bittergrin, thank you for 100 bits. Halloween Town, I hope you have a wonderful birthday. You know, it is a lot, Amber, but I respect the confidence. Freyline says, fiddle, Hannah. Fiddle while Rome burns. I'll do my best. It's funny you say that, by the way, because the burning of Rome was the advent of some early, probably not like early, but early recorded conspiracy theory. There were a lot of conspiracy theories at the time about who burned Rome. A lot of people said it was the Christians, of course. Other people claimed that what's-his-face did it himself with his cronies and then fiddled while it burned. Fucking Nero. Forgot his name for a sec. Tea Time Tea, thank you for gifting a sub. But that does come up often when you're talking about early examples of historically recorded conspiracy theories. The Great Fire of Rome. Big one. 16% to level 3 on the hype train. Like I said, if you wanted to help this month also, tips would be welcome. I haven't figured out what the next tip goal is going to be, but there will be one eventually. It's just not on there right now, because I haven't decided what it'll be. So I'll come up with something. Anyway, while we're doing the hype train, we can go ahead and get into the first video today, and that's going to be Chris. Chris has a couple of videos. We're at least going to take a look at one. Green Guy with a $33 tip says, finally, the crazy guy with great silver hair. I know, right? Thank you so much for that generous tip. Appreciate it. I am excited to get more Chris. It's been a while. Bittergrin with 100 bits says, fun fact, fiddles didn't exist, and Nero actually responded to the fire quickly for having been miles away on his estate when it started. Yeah, but that's not how conspiracy theories work. It's gotta be him. Hannah mentioned cheese. You can mark that, because we're doing a conspiracy theory today that's about cheese, so it's gonna come up. You can mark Hannah mentions cheese. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. It's basically a free space today. So anyway, like I said, let's get into it with Chris's first video in a little bit. If we end up getting if he starts talking about a bunch of Trump stuff, I'll probably skip it. Just because, I don't know, do we need that shit right now? Turn this music off. Let's get into it.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's a 1:31.
A little loud. Let me even that.
1:25.
Better.
Huh? The end of January, thank God, good riddance. Let's get the nice weather in. Well, we're in New York, or at least I'm in New York.
Punxsutawney Phil said it was going to be 6 more weeks of winter. Chris?
We still got a shitty another 8 weeks of weather left, but no more cold weather. See, I noticed one thing with weather patterns, and I've been studying them for over a decade now, closely.
My research said by a non-researcher on the bingo card, as well as recording in car.
Every year, and sometimes it's in February, sometimes it's in January.
Thank you, Depraved Ambiance.
But there's only one time you get it. Every year you get 1 week or 3 days some years, sometimes 4 days, but it's typically one.
For the record, this mask also is my lizard person eyes wide shut party mask. So when the reptilians hang out and molt and all the disgusting society wet puppet stuff we get up to, this is the mask I wear. I look great. I'm the reptilian scaly belle of the ball, you know?
Week of really shitty cold weather, just freezing cold, below zero. You wake up, it's 3 below zero, and by the time it gets to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe you're lucky if you see a single digit 9 or 10. We always get it every year here in New York, and it always lasts like a few days, and then that's it. Not saying we go into good weather, we get 35-degree weather, we get 40-degree weather, and we get some snow still too. But we don't get that single digits and below zero negative temperatures. No, we don't get that. Turn this off.
Minute left in the hype train.
You know, after all these years and speaking to a lot of flat earthers, I never have come across any flat earther who have said to me that the reason why they started researching this topic and finding out the truth was because of the sun. Not a single person. Usually it's curvature, you know, it's NASA.
I'm assuming he's complaining about the final experiment again. M. Scheffler with 50 bits says, hi all, hello.
You know, history, everything has just been rewritten, basically, or history is not what you've learned. I mean, every fucking thing you've learned is a lie, basically, everything. They're hiding everything from you. People just...
There's that paranoia, the disbelief in authority of any kind, including, like, historians. I don't know if you know this. It's, like, fair to be skeptical of power structures, especially these days. I mean, fuck, look who has power. But, like... do we really think that academic historians have entrenched themselves with that much institutional power? I don't know how he thinks society at large views academics, but it's not the way he thinks. It's very strange. Thank you for the hype train, everyone.
Go along and along with their business. I mean, that's what they do, you know. But the one that really concerns me is everybody's up in heavel about this whole thing of...
Did he just say up in heavel? Does he think that the phrase upheaval is up in heavel?
Is everybody's up in heavel about
I don't know what to do with that, but I'll note it.
This whole thing of
Overthought says, fascists take power, I sleep. Some nerd submits a paper. Real shit.
of this Antarctic whatever bullshit and the sun. I'm not saying that they didn't go down there. Of course, they went down there. What they saw, I don't know, but that doesn't prove anything.
What they saw was the 24-hour sun, Chris. They saw the 24-hour sun because we're on a planet in space.
Proves nothing. Get on with your fucking life and let's continue doing research with Flat Earth here. Okay? This is bullshit.
Do your own research on the bingo card. He's telling other people to do it. So he has both done my research said by a non-researcher and do your own research. Wow, what a treasure trove today.
This is total fucking utter nonsense as far as I'm concerned.
Hydrate.
I don't give a shit
Thanks,
what they
tea time
saw.
tea.
I could care less. I know what the fuck I see.
Couldn't care less. You couldn't care less. If you say you could care less, then you care. Somewhat. Because you could care less. There is a lesser amount that you could care. I fucking hate... I hate being this person. No one likes this person. We all know what he means. Language is not prescriptive like I'm demanding. I'm the asshole. But nothing annoys me more. This is one of my personal language pet peeves. Is when people say, I could care less. That's the opposite of what you mean! Think about the words you're saying! You couldn't care... You should say, I couldn't care less. I care the minimum amount. 0, zip, null. I care, null. I am the minimum that you could possibly care, I am. If you could care less, who knows how much you care? You could care a lot, because you couldn't care less. There's all sorts of room there. Alright, I'm good. I think I got that on my system.
I know what I see with NASA. I know what I see with no curvature. I know what I see with history. I know that every fucking thing is a fucking lie. And if you can't see that, and you're focused in on something up there, you're lost. I mean, there's so many other things to research. It's unbelievable. Unfucking believable.
Once again, CC is displaying that a lot of the flat earthers complaining about the final experiment seemingly didn't even understand what was trying to be falsified. Like, they don't seem to even understand what the point was and what was being falsified. It was the specific azimuthal equidistant flat earth map, because it has been the claim of a plurality at minimum, and I'm being generous by saying a plurality. I would argue it's a straight majority, but I'll give you a plurality. A plurality of flat earthers have claimed for like a decade at minimum that they believe that there's no 24-hour sun in the Antarctic when it happens every year. So they went and they falsified that. That's it. That's all you need to take from it. Bare minimum. That's what happened. The fact that they still don't understand it is kind of interesting to me. They don't even know what we're doing. They don't know the game they're playing. Toriador says, I could care fewer. Did I do that right? I'll give you points for the attempt. Ashley One Up says, I could care less about Cece's view of the world. Watch. I now care less.
Why this is wasting everybody's time.
Hey, Spokane Dogman, how's it going?
You know,
good.
This is the best time of year to start researching things because everybody's, asleep. They're not doing anything. I don't know. It's like the month of January is like the month of revelation for some people, and you start doing things, and then you'll see the repercussions by the summertime. Something to look forward to. I don't know. I'm just rambling on here, but anyway. Well, actually, to explain it, not the best companies, all the billionaires right now, they all started their companies right around October, November, somewhere around there. Facebook did, same thing. And then all of a sudden by like April, Facebook became like 5 billion, whatever. Anyway,
What? Did he just make a claim that like every billionaire started their company in the fall? That's such an oddly specific, incorrect thing to say.
It's just my train of thought, and just wandering off as usual. Talking about bullshit of people that are sold out, completely gone, and nobody that you can trust at all.
Did he film this in, like, the woods? It looks like he's about to cameo in a Blair Witch sequel. Like, why? I'm sorry, I just noticed. Normally he films these driving around. Where is he? Where did he go? This is his thinking woods. He goes there to think.
I mean, look at all of this. Look at all of these lies that we have to deal with, you know? I mean, NASA is the biggest one, the biggest culprit, right out in your face. Oh, they found another meteor. You know what? Trolls.
There's a lot of them out there. MH Dark Beast with 56 months. Wow, that is so many months. Says, howdy, Hannah. It's another magical month. We should watch this sometime. What is this? Girls Town, 1959. Saving right now. Thank you. I always appreciate recommendations for our public domain and exploitation streams. Thank you very much.
This is for you.
And that Blair Witch sequel, The Book of Shadows. Yeah, I have Book of fuck! I just can't help myself. I'm the most predictable fucking person on the planet. I'm the most predictable person. I know. Hannah mentions Blu-rays on the bingo card. I own a box set that's the Blair Witch Project and Book of Secrets from Imprint. Pretty good. I heard the second sight set was better, though. Phyllis Filler says, he's out there doing a Winnie the Pooh impression. Taps paw against head. Think.
Why are you not protecting your planet?
Hot take, I enjoy watching Blair Witch 2 Book of Secrets more than I enjoy watching the original movie. To be clear, Blair Witch 2 Book of Secrets is not a better movie than Blair Witch Project. Blair Witch Project isn't my thing, but it's like a superb example of the kind of filmmaking it's going for. But Blair Witch 2 is bad in such a fun way. I love it. I really do.
Once you get notified that there's a meteor coming, who are you going to trust to save the planet?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily assume anyone's going to save the planet. I have zero trust in institutions at this point. I'm just going to probably hang out and watch movies until we get blowed up. Green Guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, I wonder if there's a correlation of History Channel covering World War II Germany history almost non-stop in the early 2000s, and what is happening now. I can care less.
Shouldn't you be taking all your mathematical skills and surely trying to figure out how to form a rocket or something and plunge it toward the meteor and maybe break its trajectory toward Earth? And I don't know.
Chris, there's not really a reason to do that unless they thought it had an impending, like, likelihood of hitting. So if it does, they might. But other than that, why waste the resources? Overthought, thanks for gifting a sub to Baja.
You're leaving it up to the scientists? You should be doing it yourself. Get up off your ass, get out of the computer keyboard warrior bullshit mode, and start saving your planet, all right? Please!
Wait, is he telling random people to invent rocketry? No.
Save it!
I'm literally not a rocket scientist. Puka, thanks for 250 bits.
Save us all! It's another meteor coming down! Which one is this? Is it the shape of a donut? What is it?
Probably not. Probably roughly a spheroid. That's usually how things go in space. Bittergrin says it's a relatively small asteroid. It's not world-destroying. Small town, maybe, but probably going to hit the ocean. It has like a 1.9% chance of hitting Earth at all in 2032, which is the highest probability of any known asteroid. Okay, so almost certainly not going to hit us, and even if it does, I don't know if y'all know this, most of the Earth is water. It'll probably hit water, statistically.
What does it look like now? A brisket. That's right. That's the best one. Let's go barbecue them.
Why did he say brisket like brisket? Is this a regional dialect? Like an Albany expression? Maybe Utica?
Every day. Another rocket goes off, comes down into the ocean. Or it explodes, kick the can down the road. We've got another 15 years. We got to figure this out. The heat shield's broken. This is broken. An astronaut's got COVID. Uh-oh, lockdown. 5 more years. Another 10 years. They're not going anywhere. Doesn't anybody think about just that one fucking thing? Just that one thing. That we have not gone anywhere in over 50 years. That's a half a...
Chris, people have sent, like, probes and stuff. The thing about now versus back during, like, the height of the Cold War is we care more about the survivability of stuff like this. Back in the 60s, there was, like, a good chance that at least for the first manned space flights, that they were gonna die. Some did. Like, in Apollo 1, there was a disaster, and people died. Like, that was just a more accepted part of it back then, because it was actively during the height of the Cold War, right? And it was basically a proxy war about ballistic missile technology disguised as a scientific, pursuit of the stars. Nowadays, we care more about, like, okay, how do we reduce the likelihood of this harming the astronauts? And not only that, the systems are far more complex than they used to be. They're bigger, they involve computers that we didn't have back in the day. Your phone, a calculator that you might have on your desk has more computing power than the computers they used to get to the moon back in the day. It was barely survivable and they did it. And that's one of the reasons it's an incredible achievement. But now they're looking to do things more sustainably in a way that will make it doable repeatedly. Not gonna be easy. Who knows if we'll even do it this decade? But that's the goal, and that's why it's different than it was in the 60s and 70s, and even the 80s.
Century. Nowhere. And no plans to. As a matter of fact, I think Elon Musk said we were supposed to be in Mars 10 years ago.
Elon Musk is a fucking grifter, and that's the nicest thing I have to say about him at this point.
What? What have we've done? We've supposedly fake launched off these little rovers that are sending back...
Not fake launched, they really did it.
Back pictures of what? Of what? Of Arizona's desert?
Nope, landscapes of another planet, which is, I don't know, pretty cool. It's like a whole other planet, place where no human being has ever stepped foot, but now we have pictures of it. And, data that they're able to collect from soil samples and all sorts of other stuff from their instruments, actual productive science that isn't just sitting in your car and ranting, or even worse, sitting at a computer, watching someone in a car ranting. Chris, it's fine. Just please calm down.
For crying out loud, we've already matched up mountains that look exactly like that here in the country of the U.S. It's so stupid. I mean, people, you've got to understand what all of this is about with Flat Earth. It's not only about the lies, okay? It's not only about hiding everything from you, your potential of why you're here, why you are watching me, for example, why are you even bothering researching Flat Earth? I mean, who the fuck wants to become a Flat Earther? Not me. I sure as shit didn't. I mean, what? You think I want to get ridiculed the rest of my life? Well, fuck it. That's what's happening. And there's nothing I can do about it. Because I know that the earth is flat. It's not something I wanted to do. It's something I want to tell people to wake them the fuck up. All right? And get them out of this goddamn... see? I almost said...
He's trapped in a prison of his own making. That's the tragedy of Chris. Is he's in a cage that he himself constructed, and it's made out of cardboard, and he could walk out of it at any moment, but to him, they're titanium bars. Ugh.
Said it again, all right? But it's tough not to. When you grow up with that type of thinking, it's very hard to come out of all of this. It takes years for some people, but, just... waking people up and getting out of this zombification or whatever the fuck the word is, I could care less. You know what I'm talking about.
Zombification? He kind of said it zombification, which it's sounds incorrect, but I don't know. More like zombification, but I get what you mean.
Talking about that they're in this zombie zone, this robot mode. 8 o'clock, wake up. 5 o'clock, you leave work. 1:30, you eat lunch. Okay, I mean, the people, oh man, when I'm in the office.
Doesn't understand his problem is capitalism on the bingo card. Wow, he's given a lot of things today.
Holy shit. I mean, the ones that are next to me, you could set your clock. 8:59, show up for work. Okay, 11:59, call out, take out. What do you want today? You want Chinese? No, I think we get a pizza. Oh, how about extra?
Chris, they gotta eat. What do you want them to do? I understand that you're apparently very frustrated and sort of brustling against the banality of day-to-day life, and you feel unsatisfied in some way. But this isn't the way to deal with it. My goodness. Ugh. Like watching, you know, the 90s movies where there was that trope of like, oh, I'm so successful and everything's fine and I'm so upset about everything. Like Reality Bites or like American Beauty, you know? Like in the 90s, there was this idea of like being very frustrated with the banality of relative comfort and success, which is funny to look back on. But it's like Chris is stuck in that because he's decided that the reality is that this banality and his frustrations with it are reflections of a larger issue, and that's that he thinks they're lying about the shape of the earth.
Cheese and pepperoni, sure.
Did I prep those Blu-rays in a pile? No, I'm just lucky. Nelson JD, thanks for 4 months.
Why not? Come on. All right, we'll get a pizza. Oh, do you have the Uber money? Yes.
I just know a lot of movies and can relate them to things within arm's reach. Name a thing, I'll relate it to a movie within arm's reach of me. Nelson JD, I just said that one. Sorry about that. What it was there was a tip I needed to read. Green Guy with the $3 tip says, I watched a documentary about what the details of the Apollo missions, and they were told the probability was basically 50-50 if they would come back. So when they got back from the mission, they had high stress, like they could have died, PTSD stuff. Yeah, incredibly scary. Incredibly scary. M. Scheffler, thanks for 100 bits, says pickles. Pickles do be bussin'. I do like pickles. Dillis Filler says, zombification, noun, the process by which a person becomes a flat earther.
Okay, I mean, it's regular as clockwork, okay?
What movie best incorporates Plato's cage allegory? Ooh. Existence. It's a good answer, by the way. It's a good answer to that question. Look at this disgusting Existence cover. It's his hairy stomach from the movie. And then in the back is the hole they plug the thing into, the orifice that they fuck. It's okay. This is safe for Twitch. It's not any normal hole you have in your body. It's a hole they make in the movie because it's a Cronenberg film. Anyway, I would recommend Existence if you like body horror. It's one of my favorite David Cronenberg films. Love body horror. M. Scheffler says, no, relate a movie to pickles? Oh, I think you got me on that one. Vincent doing what they do best? True.
They get their lunch at 12:35, okay? All right, go to the bathroom at 1. I mean, you could set the fucking clock, and then at 3 o'clock, they retreat to the bathroom again, and then at exactly 5:01, the door closes, and they're off.
Did he just criticize that people are regular with their bowel movements? I don't think that's a criticism, Chris. I think that's just good use of fiber. Gitara says, I've heard of some QAnon tinfoil that the Super Bowl is going to get nuked, like nuclear warhead nuked. Yes, I've heard that conspiracy too, especially because the current president of the United States says he is going to attend the Super Bowl, which I think is the first time a president has attended the Super Bowl, or at least the first time in a long time. And I know they're relating it to some movie. I don't remember, though. An American Pickle starring Seth Rogen. I did watch that movie. I don't own it, though. I didn't like it very much. I don't even know if that ever came out on Blu-ray. I don't think it did.
Okay? And you're calling me crazy. That's crazy, man. That's nuts. Doing that...
Sum of all fears. Thank you.
Every single fucking day. Every day. And that's what we're trying to get people out of. That mental state of just being a fucking robot, because you're not a robot. Okay? We're not slaves. Slavery? We're all fucking slaves, for crying out loud. People are complaining about slavery. You're a slave. I'm a slave. We're all slave to that money.
Oh boy. Look, I'm the first one to criticize capitalism and, you know, how things are. But I'm also never, like, super comfortable with people directly comparing the situation of people subsisting on wages to literal slaves. Because, like, you know, one of the key characteristics of slavery is that you don't make a wage. So, like, not super comfortable with that. Let's have better rhetoric. Let's have better rhetoric. Let's have better rhetoric. Okay? That's all I'm asking.
Money that they've made up. That fake cash. Okay? That you have to go out and get. And if you can't get it, you're a bum and you live on the fucking street. All right? And that's why we're trying to wake people up. That's why we got into Flat Earth. It's not only the reason why, because we wanted to find out the truth for ourselves, of course, but the pleasure of it is waking people up. Okay? And that's what it is. Telling them that they know, that they feel something weird, that something isn't right, that the earth isn't spinning, that we're not, that there's, it's just that we're standing still. Nothing's moving. The blue sky is created with the dome, for crying out loud. Okay? The sun is local.
Does Chris want socialism? He would not articulate that thought, no. Does he recognize the issues with the system we currently have and how it harms people and doesn't take into account, you know, the value of human life? He recognizes that, but he would never say he wants that.
Same with the moon, same with the stars.
He might articulate that he thinks people deserve better and people deserve better compensation for their work and that blah, 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 but he would never, ever say that socialism is good.
They're all local. It's a projection up there, for crying out loud. That's all it is. That's it.
Someone show CC, I saw the TV glow. No. I can't have egg, Chris. No. That egg needs to remain uncracked, unfortunately.
Twinkling stars? A star trillions of miles away is gonna twinkle?
He does have the hair for it. I'll give him that.
I mean, come on. It's just so stupid. It's ridiculous. I don't think it's physically possible for a planet to actually exist in real time. I don't.
In real time.
Could you imagine how impossible it would make to get the gravity, which doesn't exist, and we don't know anything about it, but to hold the water in a ball and have it spinning? And it just doesn't...
Does he think gravity is like a being that has to concentrate on doing this? It's like he's thinking of it from a human, like, oh, imagine how much effort it would take a human to do that. And it's like, Chris, it's not... It's a fundamental reality of the universe. It acts as a force, right? What are you talking about?
It doesn't make any sense. It can't exist. But I see it. You see a projection. You see exactly what you would see down at the Hayden Planetarium. And
fake sun sky on the bingo card. We will take a look at the card after this video because he's filled it up already.
That's it. That's all that is. And God, he or she, whoever it may be, can put whatever.
Green Guy says, Hannah, what's the tip goal? I haven't decided yet. That's why it's blank and it just says tip goal. I haven't figured out what the next thing is going to be. Tomorrow's the anime stream. The day after, Friday, is the puppet stream. I haven't decided when we do this tip goal what it will be. I'm open to suggestions. I'm fully open to them.
It wants up there. Meteors, showers. Who are watching these?
Is the anime stream only on Twitch? You betcha! Guess why? Don't actually guess. You know why.
Comments, by the way. I'd like to know these meteors. Who's watching these things? Who is actually physically watching these things that they find a meteor somewhere and then it disappears, it goes away, okay? And then all of a sudden you're told...
A math stream? That's only a good idea if you want to see me have no idea what we're watching for 3 hours.
Oh, we're going...
Tip goal. Establish a tip goal.
To Mars, 2025. Oh, we're here 2025, still not at Mars.
Butter nips for $1 million. If you guys do... I was about to say... Oops, I accidentally pinned that. Sorry. There we go.
30, whatever. I mean,
if you guys gave me $1 million, it would be worth more than butter nips.
2030, 2035.
That would be a butter bath. Stone Corbell says, saying that because projections of space exist within a planetarium, that actual space must be a projection, is like saying that because a movie projection of Bruce Willis exists, that means Bruce Willis is just a projection. Yeah, that's silly. We all know he's a ghost.
2045. What? Like I've said before, what is it going to take? Is it going to take you sitting there in a nursing home with your thumb in your mouth and a little teddy bear on your side, rotting away? That makes you finally say,
"That's fair, depraved ambiance." I don't like the way he used it, though.
Oh, we've never been to the moon. It's been 50 years now.
Reading fan fiction, that might be fun.
That CC character from Westchester County. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos and let me be a part of your life.
Thanks, Chris. That's what Chris has been up to. He does have another video we might take a look at later, but for now, let's take a look at the bingo card, shall we? Oh boy, certainly flat Earth. Recording in car. Hannah mentions cheese, which hasn't happened yet, but it's certainly gonna, so that's fine. Doesn't understand their problem is capitalism. Hannah mentions Blu-rays. Do your own research. And where is my research? There it is. My research said by a non-researcher. Guy is fake. Gitara with 50 bits says, proselytizing by reading every passage in the Book of Paul so far. There's only 18 passages so far, so not an immediate goal. Ugh. Alright, cool beans. Get back at it. Let's see what's next. Not now, Chris. Later. Maybe it's time for another chapter in the game of, does this person just have face blindness? Hold on, where is the video? Around here somewhere. There it is. Time for another check-in on our favorite cartoon transvestigator. Wretched Recess. This isn't, to my knowledge, a transvestigation video. This is similar to her previous video where she couldn't tell Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio apart. I think she's doing something similar here, so let's check it out.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you guys have been enjoying the new content. I have a favorite photo of Johnny Depp, and it's this one.
Why? Why is your favorite photo of Johnny Depp what looks to be Johnny Depp passed out drunk? Okay. All right.
I like Johnny Depp. I love chocolate ice cream, so this is a winner. And
That just makes me sad.
If
Maybe
this-
it's because I'm a recovered alcoholic. So I see this photo and I go, oh yeah, he's like blackout, drunk or something. This is awful. I know what this feels like. It's shit. It's not good. And she just sees, oh, he fell asleep eating ice cream. You know what I mean? I don't know if she realizes that this is... You know how hard it is to fall asleep while eating ice cream? You can't. And especially if it spills all over you, you're gonna wake up because it's freezing cold. So if you don't wake up, it means you're passed out drunk or on drugs or something. Like, I don't think she gets that, unfortunately. She doesn't get the subtext of this image.
Amber Heard person did anything, she gave me this photo, so thank you. Okay, guys, this is my comment section from the video I did on Paris Jackson and Florence Pugh looking identical. This is the video right...
I skipped that one. I didn't find it that interesting. Coriador says, why does it look like someone tried to give him a tracheotomy with an Applebee's steak knife?
Here, and this is a photo of Florence Pugh, but to me, I mean, that's Paris Jackson right there. I'm actually starting to think there's like 5 famous people, like 5 to 10, and they just play every single person. Yeah. So in the comment section of that video, our friend Can't Get Right 2545, who is also our friend who gave us the tip on Philip Seymour Hoffman being Leonardo DiCaprio.
Again, I gotta reiterate, that's so insulting to Philip Seymour Hoffman. Philip Seymour Hoffman was such a great actor. He was a real actor. No offense to Leo, but, like, he's not a good actor at all.
Check out my 2 newest
He's a pretty good yeller. He has a presence, but he's not really a character actor.
Videos about him. Can't Get Right says a little bit of Amber Heard maybe when it comes to Paris Jackson. And during that trial, I was thinking the very same thing. Here, I want you guys to see my reply. And I basically said, you know, when I was watching this trial, I kept thinking the same thing. There was like this noticeable resemblance. I just kept thinking like,
Overthought. I don't know what a Capote voice sounds like. I've not seen Capote. I know about the movie. I'm familiar with the actual person, but I don't know how to do a voice. But anyway, you're telling me to say, paint me like one of your French girls, Philip. Girls?
Paris Jackson vibes every time I saw Amber Heard, which is funny because like I couldn't stand Amber Heard. I literally never heard of this person until this trial. Like had no...
He was in Aquaman and some other stuff prior.
Clue who she was. But we're going to get into the similarities now. I was definitely Team Johnny Depp during that whole thing, even though I'm well
aware. Why? What? I don't want to get into this, I don't want to get into that. But why? What?
Probably just total BS, bread and circus, like...
I've never seen Murder by Death. No.
Whatever it was. Okay. If you look at photos of Paris Jackson and Amber Heard, it's not that they're identical, but there's...
They don't.
A lot of similarities. And the other thing I want to talk about, which connects the two, is there are so many connections between Johnny Depp and Michael Jackson. And
what? Is she gonna say that this looks like Michael Jackson? Oh, God. By the way, I can't show this to you, but one of the funniest porn parodies of all time, just in concept, is Edward Penis Hands. If you've not heard of Edward Penis Hands, holy shit. Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, is this like Mormon face where everyone tries to look the same? I don't know what that means.
The thing that still pisses
And
me.
the thing about Edward Penis Hands is you picture in your head that he's gonna have little dick fingers. He doesn't. They're big. They're like this. Ugh. Anyway.
Off is when my first channel got pulled down. My live streams were some of my best content, and my very first live stream was all about Johnny Depp, and I went over like some of the connections with Michael Jackson. So I'll just name a few. Johnny Depp played Edward Scissorhands, and somewhere along the way, Michael Jackson fan for many, many years, somewhere along the way, I read that he owned the scissor hands, right? So like, why wouldn't Johnny Depp have those, but Michael Jackson did have them? The other thing was
because he bought them. He probably bought them. You can buy props. They do auctions for movie props when studios are trying to clear out props they don't think they're going to use for anything and otherwise would just be sitting in a warehouse. They'll sometimes sell them to collectors, often through auction houses like Christie's, but they can direct sale to certain people too. Toriador says, Edward Dick Fingers. Nah, we got Eddie Cock Arms, though.
his costume here looked a lot like Michael Jackson's bad costume, like from his video. The black, the buckles, like, you know, so there's two similarities right there. I'm not going to name them all. Also from Edward Scissorhands, you had Vincent Price. Vincent Price, of course, did, you know, he was the narrator in Thriller for Michael Jackson. So there's another connection. And then when Johnny Depp, wait a minute. Oops, sorry. Hold on. So then when Johnny Depp played Willy Wonka in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory...
Was it actually him in Thriller? Was it a sound-alike? I feel like we've had this discussion before. I was surprised by whatever the answer is, but I don't recall.
Like, I don't even think anyone believed it was him. It was such a Michael Jackson vibe, like character.
I mean, I don't think that was necessarily unintentional. It was a weird choice.
The entire time.
It's like one of the reasons that that movie was quite bad was the very strange Willy Wonka performance. Tea with Goblin says, well, not a porn parody itself, the 2005 porn epic Pirates does contain one of the greatest lines ever uttered in an adult movie. Stand back, my body is a battalion of destruction. I believe that Pirates was the most expensive pornographic film ever made at the time. I don't know if that still holds. But at the time, I want to say it was the most expensive ever made.
So we have a lot of connections between those two. There's more. But, you know, just off the top of my head, those are some for you right there.
I feel like that's trivia I'm remembering, by the way. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, so that being said, it's not completely out of the question that maybe Paris Jackson and Amber Heard are one and the same, or there's some connection here. I'm going to go through some photos and just look at this one right here.
Camera work is giving motion sickness. I don't understand how these people never figure out like software like I'm using. Like, you don't, to be clear, you don't only have to use this for streaming. You can use this to record videos as well if you want to have a setup like this, or record any specific segments where you're like controlling a screen and want to screen record. There are also many other screen recording apps that are, you know, very easy to get. I do not understand how these people in the year of our Lord, 2025, were halfway through the 2020s, and we're still filming like we're goddamn cavemen, just filming the screen. Not difficult to figure out. My goodness.
Paris Jackson vibe to me right here, okay? So I tried to pull up a picture of Amber Heard, then Paris, Amber Heard, so we can compare. I want you to look at the foreheads. Very similar forehead. The eyebrows are like, can be a similar shape, but eyebrows are so easy to change. You know what I mean? That's got to be one of the easiest things that they can reshape and do with makeup or whatever.
all she needs to do is put screenshots in her video, but that would require editing. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to turn on the camera and film a screen.
Different color eyes, no problem. You know, contacts. Look at the overall shape of the face. Their lips are like pretty much an exact match. They have very similar bodies.
Did she understand that some people are going to have similar features? I don't even know if their features are that similar here, other than being kind of like generic Hollywood, you know, attractive women. I don't...
types.
Okay, Amber Pretzels.
Similar heights. I looked it up. There's like a 2-inch difference, but who knows? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can lie about heights. They can pretty much lie about anything. So let's look at some more pictures. This was like a random picture I found of Amber Heard with dark hair. And let me be clear, I still really have no clue who this person is. I literally only know her from the Johnny Depp trial. I can't name one single thing she's been in. And like I said, I kind of like detested her throughout that whole thing in a very casual way, because I didn't really care. I honestly didn't believe this thing was real. But yeah, anyways.
What was the purpose then? What are you talking about?
Hold on one second. So we have Paris Jackson, and I love when her hair is dark. I swear Paris Jackson keeps...
Toreador says, get your chronometers out, kids. It's time to measure skulls.
Bleaching her hair to spite me. I love when she has dark hair. I think she looks so pretty with as a brunette or with black hair or whatever. So, you know, kind of similar there. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some more photos here. And let me know what you guys think. I am not stating, like, when I really believe something, I'll say it. I'm not stating it's the same person. I'm stating, like, there's already connections between Johnny Depp and Michael Jackson, and just, gosh, throughout that whole thing, I kept getting, you know, this feeling, that nagging feeling, and I'm so
Struggle 4, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. I am Hannah Reloaded. I look at conspiracy theorists and what they believe, why they believe it. We talk about trends in conspiracy circles, the tropes of conspiracies. It's a lot of fun, so hang out and maybe give a follow. We do all sorts of other fun stuff, too. I'm a film aficionado, so we do watch-alongs with public domain films and forgotten VHS stuff on VHS Vault. So, yeah. Maybe stick around. Can we get a shout out for Struggle 4, please?
That's
actually a good point. I'm tired of Wretched Recess. Since we just got a raid, let's go ahead and jump into another video, shall we? Let's do this video, Vampires Unveiled. There's that shout out. Make sure you check out Struggle 4 here on Twitch. This is a conspiracy theorist we've watched a few times on the channel. He believes that historically children were grown from cabbage patches, you know, like Cabbage Patch Kids, but he thinks it literally happened.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into the strange and esoteric world of vampires.
You can't even say esoteric normal, esoteric.
Are they
vampires on the bingo card? I don't know if vampires is still on the bingo card, but if it is... Oh, for the raiders, we do tinfoil bingo as well, and the first winner gets a gift sub. So if you want to play along, here is the link for the bingo card.
really just the stuff of superstition and legend? Or is there a deeper, often overlooked truth behind these stories?
Don't you dare use Bela like this. Just a Peach with the $1 tip says, there's a decade difference between Amber and Paris, but she doesn't see it, so it doesn't exist.
Now, I'm not
It's still on the card? Nice.
talking about the romanticized vampires you see in movies or TV shows. No glitter, no tortured love
Mordor,
triangles.
thanks for following.
We're tracing these ideas back to their origins, and it's gonna get pretty weird. Were people really just ignorant until the 1890s, chalking everything up to tuberculosis or disease?
You're acting like ignorance stopped in the 1890s. Folklore is like a huge part of human culture in general. We still have folklore, it's just different. We still have things that are commonly believed that aren't true. What they are has just changed, broadly. It's a lot of the stuff we talk about on this show, unfortunately. So yes, historically, humans believed a lot of supernatural things. They still do. Interesting. I feel like the age of rationality, culturally, we started believing that humans are innately rational. We're not. If we were innately rational, we wouldn't have needed the Enlightenment and the development of, like, the scientific method. We would have just innately known these things. Humans are incredibly superstitious. Humans are incredibly emotional. Emotion's a great thing. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying we are often driven by our emotions in ways that we fail to recognize. Instead, we kind of work backwards, get a feeling, and then we'll, try and justify that feeling post hoc with some sort of rationale. It's not a knock on anyone. We all do it from time to time. It's just a human thing. Toreador says, Minuteman and Ask a Mortician both have amazingly really cool videos about vampires. The actual real history of vampires is actually really fascinating. I bet. I like Ask a Mortician. I'll have to check it out.
Was there something else going on? Some people probably don't know that between
SS
1720
Penetration,
and
thanks for following.
1739,
Nice name.
vampire cases were being officially documented across Hungary, Moravia, and Silesia. And I'm not just talking about folklore. These were actual government investigations, church inquiries, and academic dissertations from some of Europe's oldest universities. When the Greek Orthodox Church has to write official protocols on how to handle a vampire, you know something strange is going on.
Because as we know, historically, churches never believed in anything that wasn't real, like witches, stuff that led to the murders of just countless people over the centuries. The churches are real on the ball about what's real and what's not.
Oh, and did you know there's a connection between Freemasonry and early literary vampires like
Of course there is. Freemasons on the bingo card.
Dracula? That's not even the strangest part of the story. We're going to explore the origins of the vampire, from ancient Assyrian tablets to Vatican archives. We're going to go into documented cases that set entire regions into panic, and uncover the royal and occult connections hidden behind this lore.
This guy believes in witches. Again, I reiterate, he believes babies were grown from cabbages. Witches isn't even the top 10 weirdest thing this guy believes. He also believes in giants. This wasn't the beach towel guy who thought beach towels were always invented and it was a conspiracy that he didn't see them in historical photos. Yeah, he's into Tartaria, mud flood, cyclopses. Oh yeah, he thinks basketball is fake.
Hey guys.
Hope everybody's...
But anyway, I'm ADHDing. Back to the video we were watching.
This is the history
Jade
of
Monkey.
real investigations, real rituals, and real fear that shaped Europe for centuries. So grab some snacks, dim the lights, and let's descend into the rabbit hole of real vampires.
How's basketball fake? He thinks the rims are magnetic and that the balls have magnets in them or something. He thinks it's all faked.
When it comes to vampires, most of us picture a caped aristocrat with long fangs, or perhaps a depressed teenager who sparkles in the sunlight. But the real vampire, the one that terrorized...
I want to be clear, Edward wasn't depressed. He was brooding. There's a difference. There's a difference.
...communities and prompted serious investigations, was something far more terrifying and occult. Vampires are not like what we think of in the modern day. However, there is some truth hidden in the fiction. The reason this subject is treated like folklore or superstition is because it belongs to the realm of the occult.
Or because it's not evidenced in physical reality, and instead the only evidence we find of it is within folklore.
Science doesn't attempt to understand the occult, and so this history becomes lost, buried beneath centuries of skepticism.
Doesn't understand the scientific method on the bingo card. For not understanding, like, when you're making unfalsifiable claims in the first place, which often conspiracy theorists are, it's not even worth it addressing them. If you want to make a falsifiable claim, that's great. We can test it, we can try and falsify it. But it largely has been. Like, I don't know if you know this. If vampires were real, there would be scientific tests on them. But there aren't, so there isn't.
But these vampires were very real to our ancestors. Real enough that popes investigated them, universities studied them, and governments created laws about them. A vampire is neither ghost nor demon, though it shares qualities with both.
If you're thinking very broadly, in the sense that one is undead, I guess, for a ghost, in the sense that they're morally evil and unholy by Christian standards, I guess, for demon? Dr. Worm with 100 bits says, a lot of guys think Twilight was cringe, but if it was an anime and was gender swapped with a loser guy who had monster girls in a love triangle fighting over him, it would be an instant hit. Stephanie Meyer did end up doing a gender swapped version of Twilight some years ago. I didn't read it, though I did read the original Twilight in high school, because of course I did. But yeah, I think Twilight, looking back on it, not great, but it got a lot of hate that it didn't deserve, specifically because it was the thing teenage girls liked. Is Edward a great, model for a healthy relationship or healthy, relationship with a boyfriend? Absolutely not. But did it deserve the amount of hate it got? Probably not. Probably not.
As the most feared creature in the supernatural world, it exists in a unique category. A corpse that maintains a horrifying form of life after death. Unlike ghosts, vampires have physical bodies. Unlike demons, who are purely spiritual beings, vampires require their original human form to exist. They are, as the old texts tell us, an abnormality, the androgyne in the phantom world, a pariah among the fiends. The vampire phenomenon manifests in two distinct ways. First, there's a physical vampire, a corpse that remains uncorrupted, leaves its grave, and attacks the living. Medieval gravediggers found them.
Look at that guy. Did you see that guy?
Doctors and attacks the living.
How are you gonna hate this guy? Look at him. He's got a little top hat. He's got those little chains on his vest buttons and those bat wings. Great. Don't hurt this man.
Medieval gravediggers found them. Doctors examined them, and officials documented them.
Has he mentioned the Casket girls yet? No.
Second, there are the occult practices that create vampires through ritual. In both cases, the result is the same. A human spirit that gains enough power to manifest physically and prey upon the living. Blood is central to vampire lore because blood carries the life force itself.
Is the life force hemoglobin? Like, what do you have the life force? I love how we just gone back to, like, straight up for humor shit. I love that we've completely thrown, like, science out the window and there's, like, a not insignificant part of the population that believes in shit like the energy force. How do you even deal with that? How do you even have a discussion with that? Like, hey, medical science is important, but have you considered we need to bleed the patient? They're too much, their cockles are too warm and dry. We need to make them cold and wet. Get me a bowl of gazpacho.
Ancient cultures across the world knew this. From biblical texts to tribal rituals, the vampire needs this essence, whether in the form of physical blood or spiritual energy, to maintain its unnatural existence between life and death. Like I said, this phenomenon was taken very seriously. Well, when Pope Benedict XIV is personally reviewing vampire cases, and the University of Leipzig is holding formal dissertations on vampire activity, it would seem this went far beyond simple folklore.
No, it didn't! What? No! Folklore can also be a thing that is taken seriously by the piety. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's not folklore if people in power believe it is a hell of a belief. Wow.
But we'll get to those investigations in a bit. This understanding of
No, this isn't Hans Wormhat. This is Mind Unveiled, the cabbage guy.
vampires didn't appear suddenly in medieval Europe. This phenomenon is far older and more universal. The vampires...
When I find a time machine, can I take you to the better timeline? I'll go back in time and fix everything. It's fine. I'll just make PayPal a failure. I'll give not fascists the idea to invent PayPal. That'll be fine. Tea with Goblins says, have you seen the new adaptations of Interview with Vampire? I have not. Even if you haven't read even if you haven't read Anne Rice, which I do recommend, but the new series is phenomenal and explicitly, unequivocally gay. The changes made give a freshness to the story, but Louis' moral torment and gothic melancholy is beautifully portrayed. The stat remains hilariously punchable, and Claudia is terrifying and tragic. I've not. I'll have to check it out. I really enjoyed the film when that came out, or not when it came out, but when I saw it, I really liked that movie, so I'll have to check it out. You're good, Tea with Goblins.
earliest documented appearance comes from ancient Mesopotamia in the form of the Akimu, the Snatcher. Unlike other spirits of the dead, the Akimu was a particular type of vengeful entity.
Is it in the Philippines that the classic vampire is a floating head? Is it Thailand? There's some country where the vampire image is a floating head or a bouncing head or something. I'm conflating two things. There's one place where it's a floating head. There's another where vampires can only bounce, like jump from place to place. They hop. Phyllis Filler says it's only folklore if it's from the hovel, tenement, and rural districts. Otherwise, it's just sparkling bourgeois lore.
One who had been denied proper burial rites or died a violent death. The Assyrians had specific exorcisms and rituals to deal with these beings.
Philippines, it's a head with intestines hanging behind, I think. Okay.
Recognizing them as more dangerous than common ghost. Clay tablets detail how the Akimu would first appear as a shadow or dark spirit, but could manifest physically to attack its victims. Descriptions vary from legend to legend. Sometimes they were portrayed as winged demons, sometimes walking corpses, sometimes as moving shadows, or even as rushing wind. These tablets describe the Akimu draining both blood and life essence, leaving their victims to waste away slowly while the creature grew stronger.
Oh my god, it's Pazuzu! I recognize that demon, he's famous!
Feeding. In
At least he
ancient
looks
Greece,
a little bit like
we find
Pazuzu.
one of the most important foundations of vampire lore. The Greeks understood that blood held power over the dead. This concept is illustrated in Homer's Odyssey. When Ulysses seeks to communicate with the spirits in Hades, he must first dig a deep trench and fill it with blood of black rams. Only by drinking this sacrificial blood could the shades of the dead regain enough substance to speak with the living. This shows an ancient understanding of blood as a bridge between life and death.
I like that he says understanding as if that is a true statement and not, you know, a fanciful belief that they had, a supernatural belief that isn't true. Like, there's a connection to life in that you need blood to live, but separated from your body, your blood is medical waste. It is not anything that, like, has magical properties. If someone has the right blood type, you can transfuse it to someone, but it's not this magical thing separate from its material purpose.
The Greeks also knew of blood-drinking entities that hunted the living. The Empusa, daughter of the goddess Hecate, was a shape-shifting creature with bronze feet who seduced young men before drinking their blood as they slept.
People do be loving bronze feet.
The Lamia is even more terrifying. Once a beautiful mortal, beloved by Zeus, she was transformed into a child-hunting demon after Hera murdered her children.
Idiots, you're supposed to bronze a baby's shoes, not their snake tail.
In her grief and rage, she crept into homes at night to drain the blood of sleeping infants. Perhaps most significant
Not as fun as
were the
Lilith's
Strigas,
job.
terrifying beings described as having the bodies of crows or birds, who hunted both children and adults for their flesh and blood.
Ashley One Up says, fuck, marry, kill. Christopher Lee's Dracula, Bela Lugosi Dracula, Gary Oldman Dracula. Which version of Gary Oldman Dracula? Because he has different appearances throughout the film, and that will heavily influence my answer.
This concept even spread into Roman mythology as the Strix, and would later influence vampire legends throughout Eastern
I am
Europe.
Dublin Poppy.
Though transformed into different entities like the Romanian
The
Strigo.
young man form he takes. Okay. Marry Gary Oldman. Fuck Christopher Lee. Kill... Bela Lugosi. Sorry, Bela Lugosi.
and the Albanian
He was double-jointed. That might come in handy. But still kill Lugosi.
Striga.
He had an addiction. I don't want a project. I want a vampire to fuck.
The Strix, plural Strigus, was a nocturnal, bird-like creature believed to prey on infants and drink their blood. Derived from earlier Greek mythology, the Strix was originally described as an owl-like being with supernatural qualities. Over time, the term expanded to encompass witches or malevolent spirits, connecting it to occult traditions. These creatures were feared as harbingers of death and illness, with Roman texts recording rituals and incantations to ward them off. The Greeks developed a particularly detailed understanding of what we would come to know.
Bittergrin says, oops, I was wrong. The vampire that's a head with intestines trailing behind is Malaysian. The Philippines is a head and torso with intestines trailing behind. I think that's an easy mistake to make.
As vampires, especially in their concept of the Vrikalakas. This term,
Okay, I gotta move on from this. Let's see, what's next? Ooh, here's an alt health guy talking about raw cheese.
So we say, Happy Moon Day. And, first we're going to open up with, are there any topics that you want to talk about on Moon Day? Because I always kind of throw some topics in. But my question to you, are there any topics you would like to talk about? You could comment below any type of topics you would like to cover for Moon Day.
He means Monday, by the way. He's saying Monday is Moon Day because woo-woo bullshit. Moon magic. The moon is magic, right?
But today we're going to cover an interesting one. I've been going down the rabbit holes of renet. And this is crazy. I don't know if anybody's ever had raw cheese or
Renet? He said renet. You mean rennet?
unpasteurized cheese, or the whole pasteurization and that whole situation. But today we're going to go through some rabbit holes on cheese, because I think this is really important to go through. Because when you get into the whole thing with raw cheeses, they usually have something called renet. And what I learned is
Rennet.
that Pfizer owns...
Oh, fuck off. Are we already getting into this alt health shit? I just wanted to have a funny video about cheese. I love cheese. But you know what I also like? Not dying of diarrhea. So Louis Pasteur is my hero. Thank you, Louis Pasteur, for making it so I don't have to die of diarrhea.
90% of the renet across the world. So whenever you see a little thing called renet on there, most likely Pfizer actually owns that. Now, what's interesting is the patents for renet are owned by Monsanto. So you got Monsanto and you've got Pfizer together as one owning.
Yeah, they're very large chemical corporations.
The renet of all
Renet.
all the raw cheeses. Now, there are 2 brands, which I highly recommend. Amos Miller's Organic Farm. Their cheese is just so good. They have no Pfizer Renet in there. And then North Star Bison. You guys can check into them. But this rabbit hole is completely crazy when you get into the Renet situation. I was going down...
This Renet situation is crazy. Charlie thumbnail. Dillis Filler says, for once that is the correct etymology. Monday comes from Monadag, day of the moon, which is translated from the Latin lune, dies. And Tea with Goblin says, I tried to make a sculpture out of raw cheese. It wasn't very tall, though. Barely past your eyes.
This
on
and
a hype train.
Through the
Have I made my own cheese? No, someday I'd like to.
Pasteurization rabbit hole, and how pasteurization, when they pasteurize something, check this. First, okay, let's go into this, because this is a deep one. So when they pasteurize something, they take milk, okay? They pasteurize it. They cook it from 250 degrees to 500 degrees for up to 60 minutes. 60 minutes, okay? Completely cooking it, stripping everything out of it.
Stripping out the bacteria and shit that could make you incredibly ill and kill you? Oh my god. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. And we're on a hype train, 46% to level 1.
Then they add emulsifiers and all these chemicals in there. Very weird chemicals.
Weird chemicals. The stuff that makes it fucking turn to cheese?
Trisodium phosphate, sodium citrate, all these really weird chemicals into there. They could put up to 5% of emulsifiers in there. So anything that they want, 5%. They can also color it, okay? So they can color pasteurized cheese with all these different synthetic colors and put things.
Sure, they can color any cheese if you really want.
It
It doesn't need to be pasteurized to color it, but yes, I'm not a big fan of, like, something that you would call, like, you know, American, like, plastic cheese, you know? Like, American cheese that's not really cheese, it's like a cheese product, like a Kraft single. I'm not a fan of that shit. I'm not either. But it's mostly just because I don't think it tastes very good. But when you make it out to be a big conspiracy, instead of, you know, a product of the economic model that we have, I can't really take you seriously.
Well, but when you get through it, the biggest one I found, and this was mind-blowing because people always say I have a milk allergy. Well, you're allergic to the poisons in the milk rather than...
No, if they're allergic to milk, they're allergic to milk. Are you acting like people can't be allergic to milk or have a dairy intolerance? A lot of people have dairy intolerances. I think a majority of the planet does.
than the milk itself. And what was interesting was the first thing that I found on the pasteurized milk, they add trisodium phosphate, okay?
Okay, is that a preservative or something? Freyline says, wait, do people think cheddar is naturally that color? I don't know.
Trisodium phosphate.
48% to level 1 in the hype train. I also don't know about the colors of cheeses.
Trisodium phosphate also leads to people developing kidney stones.
That said, you can take lactate, which I do, if you want to enjoy
and excreting calcium from the body and osteoporosis. So they say, you know, the whole milk thing, do you see how that's like, oh, it's going to help your bones, but they pasteurize it, zap it of all the nutrients, and then it does the opposite.
It helping your bones is like a propaganda talking point from the dairy lobby anyway. Like, it has calcium in it, but, you know, it's not gonna give you fucking adamantine bones. It's fine.
It creates the industry.
Amber says, listen, there's a problem with processed food in America. It's usually stripped of fiber and other nutrients and full of sugar, fat, salt. That's because it's cheaper to make crappy food and thus more profitable. That's market forces being malignant, not a big nefarious cabal.
In which
a lot of problems, yeah.
They are trying to make be around when you start to think about it. Because, you know, people go, oh, I drink my milk for strong bones. Well, if you're drinking pasteurized milk, it's actually causing the opposite. So people...
Nemesaur, thank you for gifting 10 tier 1 subs and continuing the hype train.
People should do raw milk, unpasteurized milk, And I spent about an hour going through all these rabbit holes, and I sat in there and thought, this is crazy. Like, this is why, and somebody just explains, this is why I can't have most cheeses. Yes, because these renets and
No, you're probably lactose intolerant, and the cheeses you're comfortable with probably have less lactose. Oh, people. People are fools. I'm including myself in that, by the way. I'm not pretentious.
these chemicals that they're putting in there, you don't even know what you're getting. And
You literally listed the things you're getting. What do you just listed it. If you don't know, how did you list it?
with these different renets that they use, these GM.
Just a peach with $1 tip says, I was born sensitive to all milk products, even human. I've grown out of it. My mom said I just cried all day. Oh. A gender bender, thank you for following.
Renets and things like that.
Phyllis Filler says, sodium phosphates, including trisodium phosphate, are commonly used in food as acidity regulators.
They grow them on soy, they grow them on canola, they grow them on all these weird things. So you'll see like an organic cheese, and then it has a rennet in there, and that rennet will counter the organic cheese. And when you go back into having raw, the real deal, like real cheese, the real cheese is meant to have animal rennet. So the stomach of the...
I like that he says real cheese, like there's some universal standard for what cheese is. Like it's literally a thing people made up and figured out how to make. What are you talking about? Harold Elbleman with a 45 stream streak says, woohoo, 45 consecutive. So, since he didn't get to the colonial period, I'm going to quickly tell you about the Casket girls, possibly again, but F it. Shortly after they built the outpost that would become the French Quarter, they realized they needed women there too, so the French colonial theocracy sent those it considered undesirable via the church for rehabilitation, so sex workers with little casket-shaped wooden purses to a finishing school nunnery. You can do the math from there.
The intestines and the stomach of the animal was usually put into the cheese so that you would have the best rennet. Now, here's an interesting thing with the whole cheese situation. With Pfizer and Monsanto owning the cheese industry, they can tweak the casket.
They don't own the cheese industry. You already specifically said they provide most commercial rennet, which is one singular ingredient to cheeses. But now he's acting as though they control the entire cheese industry. This is what woo-woo people do. They'll take little nuggets of, like, here's a fact in that these companies provide rennet for, like, commercial cheese manufacturers, and then he stretches it into these companies you don't like because you associate them with, like, GMOs and other things you find scary for no good reason. I'm associating them now with cheese, even though they barely have anything to do with it.
Of the
Down with big cheese. No! Up with big cheese. More cheese. All the cheese.
Of the cheese. So that's the long
If you control the cheese, you control the world. If you control the cheese, you control my world. Ashley One Up says, that's what someone in the pocket of big cheese would say, Hannah. I wish.
protein of the cheese, which is
I bet the pocket of big cheese smells delicious.
resulting in people having stomach aches too.
Cheese pocket. Tea Time Tea says Monsanto sucks because of predatory business practices, not because GMO bad. Yeah.
So when you use animal rennet for your cheeses, then you have the healthiest. It's easy to digest. It breaks down in your system because you are an animal when you kind of think about it. And then when you think about on this side, you have all this plant-based, synthetic, Monsanto, whatever rennet that they're creating over here. People eat that and then they feel sick. It's just totally crazy when you get into this, and it's such a rabbit hole. You know, it's such a rabbit hole. The whole raw milk, raw cheeses, raw dairies, raw all this stuff, such a rabbit hole. But people should look into rennet, and you know, I think that everybody should look into this, because when I was doing the research, I sat there and thought, wow.
It's a rabbit hole in the sense that you fall down it and enter a world of utter nonsense and madness from which you cannot escape. All right, moving on. Let's see what Daniel Pratt's been up to. Thanks for the hype train, everyone.
So, folks, at that time again. So, Just basically dropping in to say hello.
AVTV, we're not talking about the business practices, we're talking about the actual technology itself. Obviously, we're aware that the business practices of companies like Monsanto and their particular patenting of certain GMO products is for their own benefit and the benefit of their shareholders, and not for people as a whole. We're mostly talking about the technology, though, because a lot of alt-health people think that just the idea of a genetically modified organism is inherently bad and will harm you, which is not the case at all.
And recommend a video for you. I just got done watching one.
For one of the raiders who aren't familiar, this is Daniel Pratt. He's a flat earther. We cover him semi-regularly. He usually goes into his garage and talks about how much he hates the world. Let's see what he's up to.
Level Earth Productions put up. It's about 2 hours. He puts a lot of good videos up. I was looking, he's done like 143 videos and has 152 subscribers, so you can tell
that is a horrifying rate of subscribers versus videos. Like, you'd almost have to try to make that many videos and get no subscribers, right? Or get that few subscribers. Like, at some point, you'd think you'd just randomly get people hitting subscribe with that many videos, but no. Okay. It's impressive.
Kind of truth videos he puts out, he's well suppressed. So I'll leave a link. Check it out if you haven't already. It's about a lot of things that we already know, but there may be some new information, some refresher information in there. Some of the things that touched on and I found interesting were, he's got video clips or audio clips in there of old Drumpf back when 9/11 happened, talking about it right after it happened.
9/11 out of nowhere on the bingo card?
Talking about...
Well, that's not out of nowhere, though. He's talking about a topic. No, don't count that. I retract that. It's not just 9/11, it's 9/11 out of nowhere. He's making a point about it, so we'll leave it.
There's no way planes could have gone through those strong steel buildings. The way the World Towers were built with the steel on the outside is the strongest way you could build it. No way.
Okay, well, they weren't designed with the thought that someone was going to fly passenger jets into them and weaken the structure, so... yeah.
That's why they had such...
Really don't like to cover 9/11 conspiracies. He with Goblin says, the phrase real cheese implies the existence of unreal cheese. The Gorgonzola glitches in and out of reality. The Pecorino perpetuates itself in endless copies of itself, a self-replicating, self-referential, creamy simulacrum of dairy sensation. What is reality? Does the Camembert have objective ontology? Cheese wheels all the way down. Ce n'est pas un fromage. Ce n'est pas un fromage.
Such narrow windows because all the steel columns were on the outside. No way an airplane could have gone through those buildings. Yet Donald Trump was president when the Muncie Fire Department and
Green guy with the $3 tip says, Hannah, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Southland Tales, and If You Want to Cry, Cloud Atlas are my favorite go-to movies, and there's a difference from goat's cheese and cow's cheese if you have allergies to milk lactose. I like goat's cheese, and you do speak the true.
Other first responders and victim family members were out there screaming, demanding, begging for a new investigation because the one we got was an absolute and utter joke. But as soon as Donald Trump becomes president, he doesn't say shit about it. Doesn't mention how crazy it was those planes couldn't have.
I'm sorry, he expects Donald Trump to be a 9/11 truther?
Through those buildings. Well,
what the fuck?
As I myself have figured out and many others, that was our first obvious introduction to augmented reality.
Whoa.
Those planes only ever existed on a screen. And that's it.
He straight up thinks 9/11 didn't happen. What? Well, I guess he thinks it happened, but he probably thinks they're missiles or something. I don't talk about the 9/11 conspiracy stuff a lot, because I just don't care to. It's on the list of things that I just think are relatively off limits. It's like 9/11, Holocaust denialists, though Holocaust denial goes first on that list. AIDS denialism. Those are the big three for me that I try to avoid.
So that was one good point. Basically, it's just touching on a lot of stuff where they think 2025 is the year that it's all going to go down. And, you know, like according to the deagle report, if that was right, very well could be. And at this point, all I can do is pray it is. I'm so sick of it all. I'm so sick of this world. It touches a lot on the crypto agenda, the digitalization of our dollars, you know. Jaron can tell you all about it. I find it not at all coincidental. He's the one that sells out on Flat Earth. When he's been trying to get...
Yeah, he's been doing real bad after the final
his
experiment.
Audience to buy into that bullshit demonic electronic panopticon facilitator for years.
Whoa, that was the phrase. Let's hear that again.
Bullshit demonic electronic panopticon facilitator for years.
Demonic electronic panopticon facilitator. Word salad on the bingo card.
Years. You aren't fooling anyone of truth, Jaron.
He's spitting. It sounds like it would be something from like a cool rap, doesn't it? Like a small portion of it.
You fucking demon.
Fucking demons.
So, all I can do is pray this is the year. I'm so sick of it all. And I'm so over trying to wake people up.
Hey, Baba Booey.
Kudos. I'm glad to see how many people, you know, video creators and presenters that are awake. I hope half of their audience is awake as they think they are. But yeah, if people can't see it by now, good luck. If anybody asks me or stumbles upon my channel, well, then that's good if I can give them a clue as to what's going on. But at this point, all I can do anymore is just pray.
Stone Corbell says, someone will totally deviate from the established cosmology of the universe rather than go to therapy.
Daily.
Have you considered therapy hard, though?
Is today the day?
You okay? No.
It does seem like a lot of things they're doing are headed that way. So hopefully, I don't know, hopefully this is the year. I'm tired of waiting. A lot of us thought it would go down when COVID-19 came around.
What? Does he think that COVID was an AI? I don't even know what that would mean. Does he think it's like nanobots? Not sure what he meant by that one.
You know, it just hit me during watching that video. I was talking so much about AI and talking about the mentions COVID here and there and the whole treatment and all that. But when it started talking about AI, I'm like, AI. And it just dawned on me to do the alphanumeric. And it's COVID-19, COVID AI. Who do we think ran that entire pandemic? You think ChatGPT was the introduction of AI?
What? I don't even understand what this is bad, man. This is disorganized thinking. Like, the lines between concepts in his head are blurring to a concerning extent. Like, he's not even articulating what he means by COVID was AI. That's not good. Genuinely, I'm concerned for his mental health here. This is a level of, like, losing it that is concerning. He's saying 1 is A, 9 is I, like Gematria. Yeah. Gematria on the bingo card.
You know, if we're seeing it now...
Oh, I see A and I. Oh, AI 19. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Numerology on the bingo card.
Been around a while, so I have a strong suspicion that's who was orchestrating that. And who knows?
No, I is 9. A1. I is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. 1, 9. 1A, 9, I.
What?
Not as a whole number, a separate number when you break up the digits.
How many years it's been running things? Or, you know, suggesting scenarios. So... show goes on. Anyways, there's a lot pointing to with how the year started that this could be it, where it could pop off. I can only hope so. Until then, I'm just, you know, continuing to walk through the world, being in it but not of it, because I'm so... how anybody can be of this world is... you are not of God. I'm sorry. Because this world is so forsaken God. It's just sad. And I never thought I would be the one to see that, much less say that, understand it, see it so clearly.
Concerns you that he has power tools? I don't mean to concern you further, but he's an armed security guard for a living. I hope he's able to get help, but he's never been one to seek it out from what we've seen. He despises expertise. He's the kind of person that I think thinks therapy is bullshit. It's not. Therapy's a wonderful thing. I would like him to get better. I would like him to get help, but I'm very concerned that he will not, and he's the kind of person that is going to run as far away from anyone trying to reach out to help him as possible.
It's just undeniable. So the only message I got, you can prepare, you can do whatever you want, but the message hasn't changed and it never will. Get as close as you can to Christ. That's your only hope. Because the rest of this world is so far from him.
He is married. I don't know if he has kids. I don't believe he has any in his home regardless. Like, I think if he has kids, they're old enough that they're out of the house. Never mentioned having kids, but some people just don't mention it on, you know, the internet for obvious reasons. So, I don't know. I hope he'll be okay, though, and doesn't harm anyone. That's the thing about these conspiratorial narratives, is once you get in them, like, of course you're gonna think everything's hopeless. You've constructed or adopted a worldview that says that everyone is out to get you, that literally the entire world is made up of evil organizations that are all working either in conjunction or against each other to institute evil plans. Of course you're gonna go off the deep end. You're gonna be even more paranoid than you already are. Something satisfying about a scroll. Don't know what it is. You want that poster? I think it's on Amazon. If you shop on Amazon, you can just, like, Google conspiracy poster. It comes up. When am I framing that? I like to just have it as a piece of parchment. Because it's not on paper. It's actually on fabric. I like it. It's not a poster without a frame. It's scroll without a scroll case. There's a difference.
I truly wonder if they'll ever, if it's possible. I mean, with God, all things are possible, obviously, but the chances of the overwhelming masses even those in the mainstream churchianity, if they could really see the truth. You know, those following, cheering on Trump and Elon Musk, and forgive them, Father, they know not what they do.
Straight up quoting Jesus. Very humble guy.
These are powerful.
Churchianity. He's religious. He follows Christianity, or whatever he considers his personal version of Christianity, and he believes that organized churches are antithetical to the teachings of Christ. So he does not believe that people who go to church and are Christians are real Christians. He believes that they're more about the church than the Christianity part. Green guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, being in the world and not of it means not going on the internet and talking about what he does. It means farm, talk to neighbors, be a good person, help out at the homeless shelter, no internet. To him, I think it just means complaining about pop culture.
Powerful forces, powers and principalities we're wrestling against, and
it's hard to remember Christianity has intellectuals when you see these kinds of Christians. Some of the foundations of, like, Western philosophy in, like, the more modern age came from, you know, Christians. It is kind of frustrating.
that's why you gotta stay with Jesus. Now more than ever. I love y'all. God bless y'all, and God willing, His will be done. But I pray He lets this be the year that it will at least all starts, and the end is that much closer. Anyways, I'll leave the link to that video from Level Earth Productions, and I highly recommend you check it out. And I'll talk to you all later.
Well, he's not doing great. That's a shame. Let's find something fun. After that, we need something less depressing. I always find the semen retention videos funny. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because the idea of people thinking having enough cum in their body means that they'll get superpowers. It's an inherently funny thought. I don't know why. I don't know if those guys know this, by the way. There's better ways to get cum in your body than just saving it up. Ba-dum-bum.
The man who has much odges is the leader of men. It gives a tremendous power of attraction. In many ways, the increase of confidence and ability to express myself authentically in real life has caused me to grow in respect. This is a result of me retaining my life force.
This has got to be used as AI. This channel has used normal voice before, but I'm assuming this guy's adopting an AI voice, so uses AI on the bingo card. Dillis Filler says it only leads to superpowers if they collect it in a cum keeper. That's a disgusting phrase.
Stating my stance on certain topics which are taboo, I found that the reaction of the people surrounding me were well received. A lot of my beliefs, such as semen retention, would simply get ridiculed by modern society.
That's a little defensive. All these modern people don't take me having a spiritual connection to not coming seriously.
We've been so indoctrinated and sexualized that the thought of retaining your life force has become a ridiculous thought and something that will get you mocked. I
think it's more just that the things you're claiming are, you know, woo-woo alt medicine that don't really have a basis in evidence. But whatever you say, I guess, is fine too.
I am expressing myself and my stance in such a way that people are responding well.
Is the life force blood or cum? Yes.
To it, possibly even causing intrigue. I don't like to share publicly what I do, so when co-workers become curious about my relational status, I simply tell them that I am taking a hiatus from women while I am in the process of rebuilding my life.
Okay, that's fine, man. You do you. That's cool.
Way that it is expressed.
So this isn't even about just, like, not masturbating. He does not want to engage sexually with anyone. He never comes. He never comes. Okay.
Press leaves
That's a bummer.
them understanding, and many times agreeing that it's a good idea. I never mention anything about semen retention or shove my views down their throat. Sometimes it will
Phrasing. Ashley went up with a link. Oh, it's Estes Perkle!
Will you come? Will you come? Will you come?
This is actually great. These are propaganda films made by the Ormond family, who used to be exploitation filmmakers until they got into a plane crash and became born-again Christians. So they used to make sleazy exploitation films about, like, prostitution and, you know, all sorts of exploitation stuff. Almost died, and then started making Christian propaganda films. Hilarious movies. We watched some of them on stream. Very entertaining. There's one called If Footmen Tire You, What Will Horses Do? If you're going to watch one of them, I'd recommend that one. It's on YouTube, and the premise is basically an evangelical Christian in the 70s showing what they believe the communist, godless takeover of the United States will look like. It's hilarious. Check it out.
Will you come?
Will you come? Obviously not. I just heard it's terrible for you. Where did he go? Where did he go? Where's the cum man? Where's the cum man? Where is he? Must find him. I believe in us. I believe in our ability to find him. Not that one. Not that one. I have so many tabs open. Not that one. 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 There you go.
playfully make fun of my situation, and that's all right. I just roll along with it and have a good laugh as well. I feel powerful, knowing the secret that
Lisa Lamb, thanks for following.
retaining our life force empowers us to create success in all areas of life.
Cum Man is from Marvel. Later DC ripped him off as Jizz Jerk, who was a villain, but he has the same power set.
This is a stark difference because for a long time I've been a hermit and quite socially awkward at times when my anxiety would rise up. I'm an introvert by nature. I've been for a long time.
I'm an introvert too, man. That's fine. You can be an introvert without getting a complex about your bodily fluids.
Can trace back the first memory of shame at self-expression, back to around the time that I discovered pornography. At the time, I attributed the stark shift in confidence to going through puberty and it being normal since we become more self-aware. These days, I am wondering if I really am an introvert since I find myself enjoying the company of people and starting conversations
Is
with
Cum Man's secret identity Dick Jackson?
strangers is a breeze. Yes, even pretty women. And so I resonate with this first quote, since I have really evolved in the way people perceive and react to me. I may not be a leader of men yet, but I have definitely seen a change in the way people interact with me.
That's actually how we determine the hierarchy of power structure, is who has the most cum in them gets to be in charge. More cum, more power. I don't make the rules.
All the powers in the universe are already ours. It is we who have put our hands before our eyes and cry that it is dark. We are the ones causing our blindness. The blindness referred to in this quote is a spiritual one, a blindness caused by the closing of the third eye. We don't realize that many of the hedonistic practices of our society, such as pornography, causes us to put our own hands before our spiritual eye and cause blindness. I believe it was Catholics who used to teach that masturbation would cause blindness.
Let me guess. They didn't mean it like their eyes. They meant the pineal gland. They mean your third eye. Third eye blind.
And of course, on a physical level, this is nonsense. The blindness that it does cause is a spiritual one. You see, the inner eye is fueled by sexual energy, and without a constant flow, the inner lamp of the body runs out of oil and grows dim. When we
Cum is not flammable, I promise. I've tried. Tea Time Tea says the best name for a philanthropic organization, Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. And now you've made me laugh at a charity's name. How could you?
Waste away this precious life force. We waste away our power along with it. Knowledge is power.
Green Guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, do you find it hard balancing your interests, your followers' interests, and your channel stuff when choosing what to do on streams? Yeah, not like an extreme amount, but it's always a consideration.
And without the ability to perceive the power we have within, because
it's often a balancing act of finding out how much can I annoy people for my own amusement or torture them for my own amusement before they tune out.
Become blind inwardly.
This video is straining that.
Causes this blindness to be reflected in the outer world. Without this inner light guiding us, we remain blind to our potential and purpose in life. And so, since we are not capable in this state of carving out our own path in life, we submit ourselves to the systems already in place. Systems that more often benefit others more than ourselves.
How does... Again, what system is you coming?
We become slaves to the system, and it is ourselves doing it to ourselves. That is why knowledge is power. People do not know the potential of sexual energy. They have swallowed the lie that daily masturbation is healthy. Porn is free and prevalent because it is a way to keep a society docile and controlled. A man who harnesses sexual energy begins to break free from this bondage and create life and wealth for himself and his own. And
you're not really going to create life if you're not coming. Phyllis Filler says, does that mean people in power can't use Uber? I feel like they might have to call the trash company to pick up a cum dumpster instead. I already regret saying this. Jesus Christ.
It all begins by harnessing the God-given river of sexual energy that we have all been blessed with rather than making puddles in the outer world with it. As you
Please don't refer to it that way. I
begin to understand the value of semen, of how precious a substance it is, your inner eye begins to open.
Communists are trying to steal our American bodily fluids!
As you harness sexual energy, spiritual blindness is cured.
Hold on. My favorite Stanley Kubrick film.
I can no longer sit back and allow communist infiltration, communist indoctrination, communist subversion, and the international communist conspiracy to sap and impurify all of our precious bodily fluids.
If you've not seen Strangelove, check it out.
You have to grow from the inside out. None can teach you.
You're going to answer to the Coca-Cola Corporation. Green Guy with a tip says, me and the wife only watch the crazy stuff.
Can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. This quote reminds me of the fig fruit, which, unlike other fruits, blossoms inwardly. It was used as an iconic symbol and metaphor in older literature, since it signifies the inward spiritual growth of individuals. The fig fruit pulls resources from the vine to blossom inwardly, and it is the same with the soul of man. The spine or vertebrae of man is the vine which nourishes our soul. Life force, when retained, churns and transmutes itself to funnel through the pathway of the spine and nourish the mind. The mind...
I promise you, your ejaculate is not in your spine. It's not in your brain.
The mind is a flower. Without the replenishing qualities of sexual energy, it begins to wither away. One of the most soul-sucking practices, leaving man a shadow of himself, is the immoral release of his life force. Life force, which would otherwise nourish his soul if preserved. I hear many nightfall emissions being blamed on a succubus.
Literally, if you believe... The fact that there are adult people in the world that believe not only that there are demons, but that there are specific demons whose job it is to jerk you off in the middle of the night. I don't know what to do with your worldview. I don't know how to address it. I don't know how to talk to a person who believes that within the cosmology of the universe we live in exists a category of demon that exists primarily to masturbate people in the night. I just can't. I have my limits. Phyllis Filler says, going in for a spinal tap so one can IVF their partner.
A soul-sucking harlot, which haunts the sleep of men. In other words, excessive release of the life force will cause a depleted soul. The world is all sexy, as Swami Vivekananda stated.
The world is all sexy. Bittergrin says, God, I wish those demons existed. Bonk! Bonk!
Temptations are around every corner, especially for men that have grown in attractiveness and magnetism from harnessing their inner channel of potential. When man retains this life-giving substance, more gazes find their way to him. As you grow in health, wealth, and success, as you begin to clean the temple, which is a human body, you enhance both your physical...
How am I going to clean it? It's full of jizz!
...and spiritual attraction.
I gotta clear this thing out!
Meaning that on a physical level, you begin to turn more heads. Spiritually, you become like a magnet to the good things of life, including the gazes and desires of women. It seems that when you retain, you must also grow in self-control, since you begin to attract more potential sexual encounters. Magnetism has as its source sexual energy, meaning that when you are full of life force energy, your electromagnetic field oscillates at a high frequency. A
frequency of what?
Frequency means you hold much attraction power on
vibes-based conspiracy on the bingo card, and not how women work. Not how women work.
A subconscious level. People don't know why, but they are attracted to you. You begin making friends easily. Opportunities and unexpected coincidences start peppering your life. It also means that all those in your proximity will take notice of you on a subconscious level. Intrigue and attraction will cause more interactions with people, again meaning a greater increase in possible sexual encounters. Women can feel when a man is full of life force, and it works like a strong magnet to their desire. Women want...
Just say you think they can smell your cum in your balls. Just say it. God, you nasty.
And since the man who has taken on semen retention has consecrated himself to chastity, they become an item of desire. Something they cannot have, and so it becomes a game of cat and mouse, and all you have done is decided to hold on to your life force. Other men are throwing themselves at her, and she is only interested in what she cannot have and perceives as valuable. You.
I like that this worldview makes all women out to be absolute, like, literal cum sluts. Like, I find that phrase to be pretty gross, so I apologize for throwing it out there so casually. But he's literally just describing half of the population like they have an insatiable lust for ejaculate, specifically. I don't know what to do with that.
Life force is the basis of a healthy physical life. It is the very seed giving birth to new life, and so, does it not also make sense that it is the river which also sustains it? Life force, semen, ajas, sexual energy. Call it what you will. It is the foundation to a spiritual life. The spiritual life has always been associated with light, while a demonic life is associated with darkness. There is much light within our semen. This is why it causes the pineal...
It tastes like bleach. What is your partner eating? I'm not saying they need to eat fucking pineapple all day, but if it tastes like bleach, oh my god. Eat a vegetable, holy fuck.
Gland to be full of light when harnessed. The body is a vessel...
Okay, I'm done with the cum video. This has been an absolute disaster. I've not said anything funny. I've disgusted half my audience and lost who knows how many viewers. Worth it, but still. Why am I like this? Why am I like this? Why can't I just do things that people find entertaining? Why am I like this? Ugh. Moving on. Let's see how Roger's doing. Roger is a crackpot who believes that, He believes the world was full of giants that turned into rocks. Like, he believes they were fossilized, but not by traditional fossilization. He calls them mud fossils. It's nonsense. Believes he's an expert, and he doesn't have any expertise in this field.
Okay, my outstanding friends, you're in for a treat. We are going to be looking into meteorites. I have a selection of them here. We're going to be looking at them in the microscope and how they originated. Now, a lot of them are iron. Some of them are
Is the disgusting stuff over? It is.
Stony. Some of them are called chondrules. They have a whole bunch of different names. Now, what you're looking at right there is red blood inside.
Lisa Lamb, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome.
Iron meteorite. Now, why would that be there?
He thinks the Earth was literally born from Jupiter. I assume he means Jupiter, the god, and not the planet named after the god.
And why would there also be black blood? We know that red is the artery. We know that the black is the vein.
It's not. This is a topograph. This is like a top-down. What even is this? Is this just a rock, or is this an area? He'll typically look at something that's like oxidization. No, that's not the right word. Oxidized. He looks at something that's oxidized or basically rusted or has a dark color for some other, physical science, chemical reason, and he decides because it looks like what he thinks blood looks like, it must be blood. It's pareidolia. He has a terrible case of pareidolia. And overconfidence, and maybe a touch of narcissism. Just like a dab. Just enough.
Be in an iron meteorite. Okay,
he literally thinks that the planet Jupiter's red spot is a vagina opening through which the planet gave birth to other planets. Wow. That's something. I like Elder Scrolls lore as much as the next gal, but this is ridiculous.
I have a selection here of little iron. Well, some of them are iron, some of them are stony. This is an iron meteorite. And this is also an iron meteorite. All right, and this, I will show you the details on this. It's pretty staggering. Now, this also is half iron meteorite and half stony meteorite. How would that happen? Well, we're going to discuss that. And this is completely stony meteorite that literally exploded coming through space, and this half of it popped right off. It should have been complete like this. But this cooked up and exploded out because of the blood that was in here was still red and wet and exploded from the heat coming through. This is needs to be examined. Now, let's see what NASA had to say.
Green guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, I was trying to tip the whole time you were covering jizz and it didn't load. Were you blocking it? I don't want to read that last part.
Yesterday. Now, before I play this, I don't accept anything from
enough cum talk. We grossed people out enough. We're good. Next topic.
I think for myself. NASA, I find, needs a lot of help. I mean a lot. So don't attack me for saying that NASA, I'm accepting everything NASA says. Obviously, I am not. And I am showing you what I am not accepting is what they're talking about right now. They did find life everywhere in all the meteorites and everything. But they said, oh, well, it must have been contaminated. But this is not contaminated. And I have shown you, or will show you, it is a heart sarcomeres they brought back. Now listen to what she has to say.
As you just mentioned. So we found the building blocks of proteins, we found the building blocks of DNA and RNA. Have we found these before? What's the significance in this discovery?
Yeah, so we actually have found a lot of these molecules in meteorites. I've been looking at these for the last 30 years. But one of the big frustrations for me with meteorites is that they've been contaminated. These things fall through the atmosphere, they get heated. They hit the ground, they're immediately exposed to terrestrial contamination. So you're never quite sure if what you're looking at is real. Well, with Bennu, we have samples now, 4.5 billion-year-old asteroid samples that were protected by a heat shield coming in, so it didn't experience the heat. They were protected from Earth's biology, contained, and we're finding these building blocks. So we have.
See, that's incredible. That's science right there. They're removing variables. They're trying to get stuff and like controlled get it to Earth so they know it's not contaminated by our stuff. That's great. That's brilliant. That's awesome. Roger's mad about it, because of course he is.
Higher confidence.
Is he filming a video where he filmed his TV? Yeah, that's how he always does this. He doesn't know how to use, streaming software or anything.
These results now, we can believe them. We trust that.
All right, you see this? Let's take a look at what that actually is. It is layers of heart sarcomere. Okay, my friends, it is extremely obvious that these little blocks are heart sarcomeres, and these layers are layers of phospholipids, which are membrane.
The funny thing about Roger is he's a good example of the more stuff you know, the easier it can be to trick yourself sometimes. Roger knows a lot of random facts and random definitions of different things from biology or geology. He doesn't necessarily understand them correctly. Like, for instance, he knows how certain things look. He's looked at a lot of medical images, medical textbooks, biology textbooks. So in his head, he has a whole library of different biology shapes. This is what a heart looks like. This is what this kind of cell looks like up close. This is what this looks like. So he has this entire catalog, basically, to look through in his head when he's looking at any random rock and go, what do I think this looks like? Like, the more things you know, the easier it is to find shapes in clouds. You know what I mean? And that's effectively what he's doing here, is he is aware of a lot of medical terminology and possibly what they look like, and he is using that to now go back to geology and try and find those shapes.
Layers between these muscle sarcomeres. Okay, so this is what they did bring back, and it is muscle sarcomeres, and these are the muscle sarcomeres themselves, the little pinchy blocks, and the white layers are the bilipid phosphates, which they claim phosphate surprise. Look at this, we found layers of phosphate. This is crazy. But in between those layers of phosphate is layers of muscle sarcomeres. And this is exactly what they brought back, and they called this the phosphate surprise. Okay, here we are asking my friend Chat about phospholipids and the phosphate surprise.
Conspiracy theorists love ChatGPT because they can ask it leading questions and it'll spout conspiracy bullshit back at them. They don't understand that it's just a word calculator. It's not reasoning. It's not thinking about this in the way a human does. It's an algorithm that is like a text prediction bot on steroids. And if you put crap into it, you're gonna get crap out.
I said, do membranes...
Honestly, even if you put good stuff into it, you're gonna probably get crap out. That's the unfortunate nature of generative AI, but you know what I mean.
Contain phosphates. So yes, membranes, particularly biological membranes, which is in us, contain phosphates. More specifically, the phospholipids make up most biological membranes, have phosphate groups. This is what they found when they came back from Bennu with their sample. And as I just showed you, it is muscle separated by these layers of phosphate, which are membranes. Okay, here it is right here. The phosphate surprise from Bennu, which is the asteroid that they brought the heart muscle back from, and the phosphate surprise is the layers of membrane. Now they say 2021. I don't think that's right. It was 2023 or 2024 by the time they discovered the phosphates. And the NASA scientists discovered the phosphates were present in the sample collected from asteroid Bennu, which was a surprising and exciting find. Here's why it's significant, because it was from life, DNA, ATP, molecular prize energy cells. The surprise, it was, they say, oh, it was just before life started, but You know, if you read the whole thing, you can do that if you want. But what did this mean for the study of life in the universe? Discovery significant, provides new insights into pre-biotic chemistry. It was a heart. They landed on a heart.
They did not, in fact, land on a giant heart. This is so wild to you? Oh, you've seen nothing yet. I have so many things to show you. I love when we get a new person or new people, because it's like, I want to sing a whole new world. I can show you the world. I don't want to get sued by Disney, and also I'm a bad singer, but you get the idea. I have such sights to show you.
The phosphate surprise from Bennu refers to the unexpected discovery of phosphates. Yes, membranes, because they still don't realize it's a heart. They need to get a biologist, an anatomist, a chemist.
For the record, Roger is one of the saner regulars on this show. Roger is relatively stable. He had a career, and he has a house and a life, and like an internally consistent ideology. It's incorrect, but at least there's like some sort of structure.
A metallurgist.
You don't even know about Peter. That was a whole saga.
Whatever you call them. They need to get somebody who understands metals. Okay, I sent this to NASA and all of them about, okay, this is their conclusion on, okay, this is NASA's statement on how all this stuff happened. Here it goes.
That environment now from these samples.
Yeah, so Bennu is like a time capsule from which we can learn about the whole
Harold Ebbelman.
billion years of solar system history. And we think that Bennu formed probably in the outermost part of the solar system, and everything in the solar system condensed from a cloud of dust and gas. So most of it went in to form the sun in the center. But then this material also condensed to form the planets and also the minor bodies like the asteroids and comets. So Bennu would have formed from this dusty cloud of material, which would have included ice as well. And after it formed, the ice would have melted. It would have been gently heated by a little bit of radioactivity.
Okay. You know who we haven't heard from in a while? Hans Wormhat. Hans Wormhat believes that most people in the world are secretly trans. Hans Wormhat does not believe in penguins. Hans Wormhat doesn't believe World War II happened. Hans Wormhat doesn't believe the transatlantic slave trade happened. He thinks giraffes are genetic experiments. He thinks zebras have their stripes painted on. He believes gorillas are people in suits. All right, you're caught up on Hans.
As you may be able to guess from looking at this image, this is going to be a ramble video on just some topics that I think about very often.
Oh, and he homeschools his children. The aristocrats.
And these are just concepts that that come to mind very frequently because it's the way that the world is. And
does he believe openly trans people are lying or telling the truth? He thinks that, I'm not kidding, he has basically said he thinks that people who are openly trans, like myself, are secretly cis, and we're part of a double fake. So, good news, my penis isn't real. That's relieving to me. Sorry. Too much, too far.
Just after I finished drawing this picture, the story that came to my mind of how the world works is, this is the big picture. This is Hogwarts. This is everything that's going on. But your average normie who is just stuck in the rat race and unfortunately doesn't have the time to look into things for themselves, people who just go through life and, they...
Yeah, Hannah regrets what she just said on the bingo card. That's a lot of today, honestly.
They do the things that they're told to do. They believe everything that they're told. They're just up here in the corner, the top left corner, experiencing nothing but a little bit of honk. And that's about it. And then if you're part
is that a Clown World reference?
Hogwarts, you have a lot of extra stuff going on. And what this really comes down to, in my opinion, is that there's two types of people in this world. People who love the lie and people who love the truth. And I had decided that it was...
There are two kinds of people in this world. People who can extrapolate from available data.
The pivotal moment in my life. Like, there's one...
Green guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, there's something sweet and almost kind, but he was mean, and he was coarse and unrefined, and now he's dear and so unsure. I wonder why I didn't see it there before.
People talk about, oh, the day I got married, blah, blah, blah. Getting married would not even scratch the surface compared to...
Beast is good. I like Beast.
To the day that I vocalized, I said out loud and I thought about it, what the most...
I want to point out, by the way, that liking Beast is a monster fucker opinion and not a furry opinion. I am very adamant on the fact that those are separate things.
Important thing to me was the truth. And that changed my life forever. And then I found out, okay, Jesus is the truth and the devil is real. That Jesus is the truth in the same way that the devil is a lie and the devil loves the lie. And the concept of the wheat and the tares has been coming up a lot more recently. And it was one of those things way back in 2017 that we were talking about a lot. Wheat and tares, and so much of it comes down to this. You have people that love the lie.
Am I sure? I'm sure. What creature is the beast? What creature is the beast? Give me a specific animal that the beast is. You can't name it. He's not a furry. He's not a specific animal. He's generic monster. He's a monster. He's a monster boy. He's not a bear. He's not a bear. He's not a bear. You think he's a bear? What do you think bears look like? Have you seen Beauty and the Beast and you think he's a fucking bear? I'm not going camping with you people. He's certainly not an ape. What are you talking about? He's a beast. He's a generic folklore monster man. What? Ugh.
More than the truth.
I'm gonna go back in time and find Kato and fucking bring his goddamn arms in here to slap you guys up the side of the head who think he's a fucking bear.
And they're of their father, the devil. And what started, this was my very first thought that started these thought bubbles, is just how surface...
Use this official image from Disney. Here's what it says. Our monstrous fellow... Monstrous fellow! Our monstrous fellow was created solely by Glenn Keane, who was put in charge of the creation and animation of the beast. The multiple that we know of is not a single animal, rather a collection of multiple different beasts. He has the mane of a lion, the beard of the head of a buffalo, the eyebrows of a gorilla, but the eyes of a human. He has the tusks of a wild boar, the torso of a bear, the legs and the tail of a wolf. I rest my case. I rest my case. The moment that you start mixing different beast parts, it no longer serves to be a furry. It is now a monster. Good day. Checkmate. I win. Anyway.
level this stuff really is.
He's at best a chimera and at worst a Therian amalgam. Don't use big words at me to try and make me a furry. Miss Quilanius, thanks for 43 months. Says, it was a mistranslation. It's actually supposed to say the mark of the beast, small oopsie. Or mark of the best, small oopsie, sorry.
And how logical this stuff really is. And that it's unfortunate that most people are just, it's bread and circus. You know, your life is so consumed with making enough money to be able to live. And then everything else is filled with entertainment. How many people are out there that are sitting there pouring hours of research into questioning their own reality? You know, that's something that you got to kind of be a weirdo to do that. I
don't know. I think, like, a lot of people have existential thoughts. I don't think that that's actually something unique to you, Hans. Amber says, if wanting to fuck a beast, if wanting to fuck beast is furry, then so is wanting to fuck a werewolf. Second point, we, Amber, would fuck a werewolf and we're not a furry. In this TED Talk, we will.
Quit my job.
I'm on your side. I agree with that statement. Amber is correct. We win.
Before I guess I was still working when the whole truth thing came out, but that was the catalyst and everything else. But if I hadn't quit my job and spending so many hours researching things, questioning things, actually going and looking into flat earth stuff, for instance, most people will not put 50 seconds into seriously questioning the things that they just take for granted. And Jesus is enough. I will say that there are plenty of people that will be saved because Jesus is enough, and you don't need insider forbidden knowledge in order to be saved. That just so happens to be the way that I personally found Christ, was through conspiracy. So, but it all comes down to this. They are liars. And so to finish my point where I was saying that this is all very logical, and it's just that people don't look into it. So here's the thing that's very logical, anybody should agree to. It's the same thing with, if somebody's going to talk down on you, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Well, do you believe that nobody ever conspires in life? Do you?
No, that's not the premise. It's that usually the conspiracy theories that conspiracy theorists talk about are untrue or based in falsehoods or misunderstandings. Things that are actual conspiracies, we rarely call them conspiracies because of the connotation. Like real conspiracies historically, like for instance the business plot, stuff like that, we don't call them conspiracies. They are, by definition, but we don't colloquially call them that. Usually when we're talking about conspiracy theories, the differentiation is the level of ambiguity, is the level of unanswered question. It's a hanging question, right? Often a nonsensical question, but it's certainly not something we know as much as you can know anything. Green Guy with another tip says, look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here you'd think. All right. You gave me your $3. You happy?
Truly believe that nobody conspires, and that especially people with power, and because you have everything to gain by conspiring. The only thing that you have to lose is your morality, possibly your soul.
Keep going. Give me $3.
But these people are of their father the devil. They already don't care. People that are truly evil, they don't give a crap about conspiring against people. And so part of it is just people are too naive. People are very naive. And
oh, you're actually going to do it. I was joking.
Big Brother.
Okay.
And they don't believe Satanists exist. They don't, right? The greatest
Dillis filler with 300 bits. Oh, fuck. What's the next part? Looking around here, you'd think, sure, she has everything. I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I've got who's its and what's its galore. You want thingamabobs? I've got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. There you go. Legendary Super Lesbian, thanks for gifting a sub to $3. Flipping your fins, you don't get too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing. Walking around on those. What do you call them again? Feet. There you go.
You never convinced people of is that he doesn't exist kind of ideas. But then you have the people that are team evil and they know it and they just lean into it. So that, to finally get to the point, and I have it written here, people, it would make sense for the people who study deception to keep it secret. It would make zero sense for people that have just decided, yeah.
Jade Monkey, thanks for gifting a sub to Maiden Minutia. Was that trying to get me to do it more? Oh fuck, where's my water? I think I left my water in the bathroom. Oh no, it's right here. I do need to fill it. keep hitting my horns on the door. Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun. Wish I could be something to say, part of your world. Please stop making me sing. It's literally driving away viewers.
I'm gonna be a deceiver.
Like, literally, it is driving away people from the stream. Please stop. Green guy. I just sang that part, so that counts, green guy.
Why would they tell people about that? They would, of course, keep it secret. And if they're going to study this, of course people are going to study that. Once you've just full on decided, you know what? I'm a liar. I'm a cheat. I'm a deceiver. I'm going to hone that craft.
Green guy with a $3 tip says, What would I give if I could live out of these waters? What would I pay to spend a day warm on the sand? Betcha on land they understand, bet they don't reprimand their daughters, bright young women, sick of swimming, ready to stand. All right, I'm done. Seriously, please stop.
You're going to keep it secret, and you're going to study it, and evil people will leverage it.
If you do it again, I'm not going to continue. Seriously.
This is where down here gets into social engineering.
I do appreciate the tips, though. Thank you.
So much of reality is a social thing. And this is, I guess, this is where there's a tangent. One of the topics I've been thinking about a lot, you know, I've been taking some breaks. Maybe you can tell I have a little cold. I've been thinking a lot about neurodiversity, because I have another thing that may be readily available from my web, my thought web, is ADD, which now they only call ADHD, which is weird. But yeah, I have ADD for sure, and it was just one of those things that I never like.
Ashley One Up says Hakuna Matata. Wait, I think I got the wrong song sheet. No, that's fine.
It didn't seem purposeful.
Maybe that'll be the next tip goal. Maybe we'll do another karaoke stream. It's been a while since we did that. We can have me strain my voice by singing for hours.
To admit it, back in the 90s, we didn't care about labels and stuff like people do today. Everyone wants to, oh, I have this.
You can hear me do Ice Ice Baby again.
And it wasn't so bad that I couldn't function. You know, I could mask plentifully, easily enough to.
Ashley One Up said, oh no, Paul the Potato says, I'm pretty sure this Hans fellow lives in a city near you. Oh no, that's a shame.
Get through life, like I'm sure people have for all of eternity.
Should stock up on throat coat tea first. Yeah, I would definitely have a tea or something. Nemesaur with a $50 tip says, new stream goal idea, the Hannah Reloaded musical review. Okay, I think people are behind that. We'll have the tip goal be a karaoke stream. It'll be awful and embarrassing, but at least that'll be the place for it. So we'll do that.
But anyways, neurodiversity is very interesting to me. It reminds me of the Bible, how people had
heat from fire, fire from heat.
Roles. You know, certain people knew how to interpret dreams. Those were probably that was probably a result of neurodiversity back then. There were certain people that could understand the symbolism.
Holy fuck, is Hans talking about neurodivergence? God damn. Accidentally based on the bingo card? Also, what he's talking about is like... I guess I don't know if he's probably talking about people like Joseph from the Bible, but it brings me to stuff like Freud's interpretation of dreams, which is an interesting read, albeit woo-woo. It's interesting, at least. I think he overestimates people's abilities to say what dreams mean. Like, it's going to be pretty subjective. I don't think you're going to pinpoint that exactly. Paul the Potato, thanks for following.
And make the connections, because they were different. And...
you're normally on YouTube. That's interesting.
Anyways, I forget what I was getting at. But that is something. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to talk about that type of stuff that I've been looking into.
He said Joseph was autistic. Yeah, he did. He did say that. He did.
And just observing myself and the way things like executive dysfunction. Oh, that was something that I was going to talk about. Is a big part of ADD and stuff is executive dysfunction.
After you sent a bits message, it said you unfollowed. That's bizarre.
and how that's such a spellcraft thing, and so the way they operate, this gets into the social engineering thing, how so much everything, almost everything comes down to a social engineering thing. Like even just using the word dysfunction, executive dysfunction. Who's to say that it's dysfunctional and not just a difference, that there's a spectrum of humanity? The fact that
it's so interesting how Hans gets incredibly based sometimes, and on some level seems to have a decent deal of empathy, but it only goes to specific people. And maybe this isn't empathy, maybe it's because he sees himself in these qualities, I don't know, but it's notable. Moss Sloth, thank you so much for gifting a sub.
Make it a negative thing already shows their bias. And I don't have the example, but I remember reading a month or two ago on Reddit some classic case. You know where like the police do some horrible police brutality onto a civilian.
Holy shit! Is Hans just decided to like have weirdly decent opinions on certain things today? What a strange guy.
Then they write the words in a way that make it seem like it's like civilian injures themselves by angrily bashing their head on a riot shield or something, but it's like actually the other way. Anyways, so yeah, that's something I've been thinking about.
We can do it, chat. We can fix him. We can do it. I believe in us. Phyllis Filler, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs and kicking off a hype train. A lot of hype trains today. Thank you, everyone.
And that's been coming up sometimes. Yeah, I wonder how many people back in the
Green
day.
guy with a 30, is that another $33 tip? God damn. Says, bills, but also stream singing with a theme or what is happening in stream. Maybe puppets. We're already doing the puppet stream Friday. We can't put puppets in everything. Not everything's a puppet thing. We can maybe include a puppet at some part. Phyllis Filler, thanks for 21 months, says, it's a baby! If I missed the last one, this sub-baby's name is going to be Marcia Janet, Cynthia. Marcia Janet Cynthia. That's the name of this baby. Hype train cooldown seems short today. It does. I think it's normally an hour and a half or 2 hours. Don't know why it's so short today. I'll have to see if a setting changed or something.
Profits and stuff. I wonder if that was like a neurodiversity thing at all. Let's start looking at... I have some images.
You weren't expecting a based Hans arc? A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
Along with these things that kind of make this a more linear story. But I think these things are all connected. Something you'll hear people talk about when we first learn to deceive.
All puppets all the time. I'll be a P-tuber. Like a VTuber. But with puppets.
I went the wrong way. Here's the verse on...
M. Scheffler says, hype and flesh pockets.
The devil. What a tangled web we weave when we first practice to deceive. Practice, like practicing magic.
No idea, Moslaw.
Practicing medicine. Some interesting spellcraft. Medicine is, of course, they are agents of pharmakia. Pushing pharmakia. There's a lot of Bible...
A master of puppets, if you will. Have I showed you my Trelawn box? Have I shown you my Puppet Master collection? It's in a trunk, like from the movies. It's got stickers on it from all the locations of the various movies, although the stickers are kind of coming off, because Full Moon Features are cheap bastards. And then you open it, and it's all the Puppet Master movies. There's also spots in it for you to get little figures of some of the puppets and put them in here. I don't have the figures, though. So, all the Puppet Master movies. Ooh. Anyway.
Verses related to magic. In the Bible, magic is real. This is the spiritual component of deception.
He thinks... I find it interesting, because Hans says magic is real. But when he says magic, it seems like it usually means manipulation. Like, he seems to think that propaganda is a form of magic? Odd.
Magic is most often utilized today to deceive. And we have things like lesser magic. This is illusion magic. These are some sketches I've done of celebrities. How when you really start to look at celebrities, they look freaky. They don't look right. They're using illusion.
I feel like if you look at anyone, you know, you tend to, when you look at people, you don't see the individual aspects of their face without focusing. You kind of get an overall picture of the person. But yeah, if you start to look at people's individual features, anyone, it can look a little weird. Because, you know, you're not used to focusing on stuff like that. It's like saying the same word over and over again until it sounds weird. You're just kind of fucking up your perception, you know?
Magic. They contort their faces in bizarre ways. They smile with these big Joker smiles. And it's uncanny. But
Green guy with the $3 tip says, "Can I mail you shelves? How many do you need? What height do you want? And magic is real. You're magic. If you want to give me shelves, I will take them. You know what my P.O. Boxes thing is. If not, there's what my P.O. Box is. I'll put it in both chats.
But it's a type of illusion magic.
Does Hans have demon face syndrome? I don't think so, but he might have face blindness. At least slight face blindness, because he sometimes makes odd observations about faces that seem off.
Brain blurs and makes them appear more normal. But in reality, they're truly terrifying. This is the social engineering question. Is it true you can get nearly anywhere simply by wearing a reflective vest and carrying a clipboard? This gets into the deception thing.
Thank you for a hype train, everyone.
So what this is all about is they're not going to tell you about it, but an overwhelming amount of effort is put in by the powers that be to study deception, social engineering, programming, propaganda. And it's like these are things that are out in the open. It's like, we know wartime propaganda posters and all that stuff. It's like, we know that it happens, but...
Again, it's like he thinks messaging in general is magic. It's not. Rhetoric and propaganda are a part of everyday life. And I'm not talking about government-sponsored propaganda, though that's certainly a thing. When people think propaganda, they usually think like capital P propaganda, like Leni Riefenstahl making Triumph of the Will, stuff like that. Advertisements are propaganda. A Coca-Cola commercial's propaganda. An advertisement that's like a PSA to not smoke, that's propaganda, right? So you're correct in stating that, like, propaganda is all around us all the time. Propaganda is basically any piece of media that's trying to convince you of something, to try and get you on some position that they're intending to send to you. It doesn't inherently have to be malicious.
They're able to...
Paul says, "I'm not face blind, but I can't read emotions from faces very well at all."
Tell us that they do it and then do it anyways and it still works, kind of things. Which really gets into some Kabbalistic ideas that they... disclosure, predictive programming, and I think that these things too have to do with the club. If they make it bad...
Hannah's propaganda, true. I'm, often stating things and wish to convince people of something or make a persuasive argument, and any attempt to persuade people that's not strictly like logical syllogisms, yeah, this is propaganda to some extent. Maybe we're loose with the definitions to the point that it means nothing, but I think it's fair to point out that we are usually in our messaging using emotion in some way, even if it's not maliciously. Amber says, "Your brain often glosses over things like the blind spot in your eyes. It does so by making predictions and assumptions. Another example, did you know you can see your own nose? I did know that, especially because I have a fucking huge nose."
On purpose, and they kind of lean on the power of magic.
I found where the Sphinx's nose went. My face. What chair can you buy me? Oh, God. Anything comfortable. I don't know. I feel weird at saying or asking. I don't know. Any kind of comfortable chair, preferably purple if they have it. Bumble Homestead with a $5 tip says, thanks for entertainment while I'm sewing. Way too many damn tutus. No problem. Hope the sewing goes well.
And the power of suggestion, the power of the 100th monkey effect, and the fact that they have paid actors and actresses everywhere, the fact that they have the media, that they have the expert, the authority.
My nose is regal in what, a rhinocracy?
They can leverage that magic so much that it doesn't, the psyop itself doesn't have to be perfect. And I mean, there's an Illuminati pyramid on the, this is something that has
spurious symbolism on the bingo card.
Been coming to my mind recently. Whenever I have like a dollar bill in my hand or whatever.
Of course I'm a purple enjoyer. Have you seen the entire color scheme of my stream? If anything, I could use more contrast. This looks so purple, it's annoying. But I just like purple that much.
Sometimes I take a picture of the Illuminati pyramid on the back and send it to my dad just to be like, here, look, it's on the back of the dollar bill. An Illuminati pyramid with the New World Order. They
Not an Illuminati pyramid.
Print it on the $1 bill.
Phyllis Filler says, Hannah, rhinocracy deserves more significant bonus, but here, thank you for the 240 bits.
And how much more can you get away with it? How much more can you show your hand and then do it anyways? And I mean, it's because they're very powerful at this magic stuff, this social conditioning, programming. They have the means of production. They have the old institution.
Oh my fucking god! Oh my god! Did Hans fucking Wormhat, who doesn't believe fucking pandas exist, just use the term means of production? Holy shit! Chat, we can fix him! We can fix him! We're this close! We're this close! We just need to show him a panda bear and a sloth. And we got this! Green Guy says, wish list is gone. You put like 6 chairs on it. What do you want? I guess no chair now, just money. 'Cause you poor? I mean, I do kind of need a chair, but money would be more helpful. But also, you're a viewer of mine, and I feel like a complete psycho bitch for asking for anything. Like, what? I don't, when people offer me things, I don't know what to do. I don't deserve anything.
Institutions. They secured all that stuff right after the reset, and they have the Wizard of Oz diplomas to hand out. They have the magical system behind them. Something else I've been thinking about a lot recently is, like, look into the history of really large dollar bills. Like, why were they printing like $5,000 bills, like, when America was supposed to be just fresh? Like, what the heck was going on? There were some weird things going on, and that's
I don't know if you know this, but back at, well, I'm not going to get into this.
whole smoke and mirror
Never mind.
part of our
Overthought with 100 bits says, you know what, I don't care if he thinks pandas are fake, as long as he thinks the bourgeois is real.
history. Who
is this, the class consciousness we've been waiting for?
Who knows? I've actually talked to one of my friends has some really cool, they're much more of the like detail oriented minded people, which is like, I love this. I love that there's different types of people in the world. Everybody has different ways to go about it. That's why I hate goalposts. I hate when people come in and say, you're not allowed to have an opinion. You have to meet my own goalpost. No, F that. Everybody can have their own ideas, and we're all different, and we all have something to bring to the table. Don't let other people put your own mind in a box. Anyways,
does Hans do any Nazi shit? I think so. I think he's implied some JQ shit, so he's not based, unfortunately. I'm joking about the fact that he's bringing up some criticisms, or at least language used generally in the criticism of capitalism, but like, he is not based, to be clear. Hans is not okay.
I have a really cool friend who I believe,
Paul with 100 bits says, I have aphantasia like you, Hannah, but it's all senses I lack in my head, including no monologue. Wow. What's in your head? Just concepts? Just
maybe,
like the ideas of things, sans words?
They'll have to send me an email if I'm messing this up.
CJ's a
proxy. They just talk about, like, yeah, the last reset was before like the Renaissance, which would make sense. Renaissance, rebirth, like that's the next reset. Because I do say a lot like the last reset was in the 1800s, and I don't have like a bunch of proof of that. It's very possible that was not a reset era, and that's just like a smoke and mirrors era of our past. Anyways, I just wanted to throw out there that nobody really knows the answer perfectly, and there's all sorts of possibilities out there. So to me it seems like a reset in the 1800s just because the populations look so low. Maybe a mini reset, who knows. What is next? Oh, I was going back to my sheet just to show the progression of thought. Where we're liars, they're of the father, the devil. There's people out there that study how to deceive people. Of course, the government's Hollywood magic is all about deception. It's not about entertainment. The entire point, Hollywood, the holly tree, magic wands. Look at their hands. They hold their hands like they're holding magic wands in their hand. They just don't hold an actual wand. This is where the Hogwarts thing comes in. This has to do with the club. The fact that most people, most normies are up here in the top left corner, but there's a big club who knows about at least parts of all of this stuff going on that I'm talking about. There's a reason they become these huge phenomenons and that they have inside jokes about these things, because all of this stuff is simultaneously going on behind the scenes. Optical illusion. Stage, I haven't talked about stage magicians yet. That's where I was just about to be. Stage magicians. Hypnotist shows is more related to the club because you need to have actors who know that it's all fake and that they're going to be participating in the hoax.
That's called instant stooging in magic. It doesn't require people to be in on it. Like, you can have a stooge in the audience that is planted, but hypnotism is an example of instant stooging, which is the audience member, due to social pressure, will go along with it, even though they're not necessarily actually hypnotized. I don't even know. I have complicated feelings about hypnotism, but certainly stage hypnotism is bullshit. It's a trick. It's why magicians do it.
But this was just interesting. Something I recently
I don't know who
watched.
needs to hear this. Darren Brown does not hold secret information about the human mind. He's a magician with a theme.
Just think of magicians. How it all revolves around deception and never telling the secret. Never. And look at how good they are at doing that. It's almost impossible to find free, which is an interesting thing that a different friend of mine brought up, the money component to keeping secrets. If you can't keep it a secret, you can't charge people money for admission to the secret club. Magic certainly works like that. Even the most classic, basic magic tricks, it is so hard to find like a YouTube video exposing how it works.
It's really not. There's a lot of them. Penn and Teller, like he's showing on screen, have done it. There were multiple specials in the early 2000s. Magic's biggest secrets finally revealed. The Masked Magician, it was a whole thing. Look at. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. This has 21 episodes, all of them 45 minutes each, and the whole thing is them explaining magic tricks. I used to watch this as a kid. I actually want to watch this sometime on VHS Vault. It's kind of interesting. But no, it's incredibly easy to find explanations of all sorts of magic tricks all over the internet.
A post on the internet exposing how it works. And it's because there's people out there charging you $15 for a China piece of crap and a piece of paper that tells you how the trick works. And it's usually sleight of hand or, something that seems obvious after the fact.
Yeah, that's what makes it a trick.
That's very connected. That things like magicians, it shows that people are willing to conspire together to withhold information, to withhold yeah.
That's like saying a theater troupe is conspiring to hold information from you because they don't come on stage and tell you the ending to the play at the very beginning. Like, what are you talking about? Green guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, after I turned 30, I got a lot more self-awareness in who I am and where I'm going, realizing sexism and racism more and how I can change it and how old people are dumb. How has it affected you? More existential dread, and a lot more self-conscious, which is saying something because, oh boy, I'm not my biggest fan, let me tell you. I gotta pee real quick. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. While I'm gone, Cher will tell you about Terminators of the Year 3000. Is she in the Breakfast Club? No, she just looks like the girl from the Breakfast Club. Okay. I'll be back. I'm back. How's it going? You're entertainment starved? I'm doing my best.
Withhold knowledge from others for money gain, right? If everybody knows how all the magician's secrets are done, less people are going to pay to buy a ticket. And just exclusivity and feeling like a member of people like that feeling of being in on a secret that others don't know. I'm not like that. I like to figure out a secret and shout it from the rooftops. And yeah, it's just interesting that almost all that this is like edgy. Penn and Teller are being like edgy by exposing tricks that are probably a little too cheesy for today's standard. They're not going to expose a really good modern trick. They're exposing old classics because
this is their trick. What?
They feel like
they've talked about this. I've heard Penn talk about this. He only reveals tricks that he and Penn develop, or he and Teller develop together, because they don't feel it's right to expose other people's tricks.
It's obvious anyway. People already know how it's done anyway, so we may as well.
This line on my head's never going to go away.
And
It's also where my hairline would probably be if I wasn't a disgusting beast. That was too. That crossed over the line from self-deprecation to self-harm. I apologize.
Naughty. They're being naughty by showing people this. I've also looked up. Very difficult to find, just like a China magic trick that you could buy in a magic shop. I was interested in how it was done, and it was really hard to find a single YouTube video, and they were just being flamed in the comments for exposing how the trick was done. Keep it like a secret. Hush, hush. There's a reason that they're always covering their mouth and going shh. Did you guys see this in the news recently? Photo related to HIV awareness by the CDC historical archives that was removed by Trump. Hear no evil, hear no evil, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. It's all about this pact among
It's a pretty common, like, Christian thing. I guess I don't remember if that's actually from a specific Bible verse. It probably is, but it's some sort of saying, and the eyes, ears, mouth thing has become a symbol of that. You see it expressed all throughout visual mediums. It's used in the famous film Planet of the Apes, if you've ever seen that, but it's all over the place.
Evil people. This really brings it back to the beginning, that these are just evil people that have decided together that they're going to deceive and that they're going to study this stuff. And there's also
three wise monkeys.
That this stuff is sorcery and
oh, is it not a Bible thing? Let's prove me wrong right here so I can be wrong about this. Sanzaru redirects here for the game company, blah, blah, blah. The three wise monkeys are a Japanese pictorial maxim embodying the proverbial principle, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. The three monkeys are Mizaru, does not see, covering his eyes, Hikazaru, does not hear, covering his ears, and Iwazaru, does not speak, covering his mouth. Lafcadio Hearn refers to them as the three mystic apes. There are at least two divergent interpretations of the maxim in Buddhist tradition. It's about avoiding evil thoughts and deeds. In the West, however, it's often interpreted as dealing with impropriety by turning a blind eye. All right, well, thank you. The source that popularized this pictorial maxim is a 17th century carving over a door of a stable of the Toshogu Shrine in Nikko, Japan. The carvings of the Toshogu Shrine were carved by Hidari Jingoro and are believed to have incorporated Confucius's code of conduct. Using the monkey as a way to depict man's life cycle, there are a total of 8 panels, and the iconic three wise monkey picture comes from panel 2. The philosophy, however, probably originally came to Japan with a Tendai Buddhist legend from China in the 8th century, the Nara period. It's been suggested that the figures represent the 3 dogmas of the so-called middle school of sect. Oh, well, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Whenever I say incorrect things, I really appreciate people correcting me.
Magic that they use to deceive people. Things like Hollywood magic. Kubrick-directed moon landings. Yeah, so this was...
Stanley Kubrick didn't direct the moon landings. If Stanley Kubrick directed the moon landings, they'd still be shooting it to this day.
Was recently in the news about Trump. I'll talk really briefly about... I'm not even going to show pictures or anything like that, because it's bad out there. It's really bad out there with the PSYOPs and...
PSYOP on the bingo card.
There's a reason that I don't make... Like, if an event happens, I'm not going to go out there and make a video, this is fake. It's all fake. I'm not saying that that is a good service, and there's people that still need to wake up. It's just kind of dangerous territory, to be honest. And unless you're a shill, there's not a lot that you can get away with when it comes to exposing current events. And I'll even mention Jungle Surfer. I think that's probably why. I mean, his channel was around for so long, and YouTube recently censored his channel, and I think it's because he talked...
Never even heard of that person.
About current event things. That gets into part of the magic.
The Jungle Surfer?
And the social engineering,
I don't
the
know
magic...
if it got demonetized or deleted. Jungle Surfer TV. Is this it? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Ugh.
Our children, because
this is just going to be racist, isn't it?
American dream does not belong to me. It does not belong to them, because you chose.
Yes, I'm thrilled and privileged, and of course, you know, because it's an award of my news night show.
I was at a loss.
Fire nearby, which miraculously saved them.
I'll actually touch it. Okay, at least it's just a compilation. He's not talking.
Well, there's a bit of hanky-panky.
Either way, I'm going to save this person just in case. If Hans watches him, probably something interesting in there to look at sometime.
Thing, they know. This is just like a known thing that being the first one to get out there and expose a story is so important, to be the first one. And a lot of times, even when later somebody comes out and says, you know what, the first person that exposed that story, they were all wrong. They got it all wrong.
Green Guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, why it started with Beauty and the Beast was because after the Beast turned their internet posts that show her disinterest and that she truly expected to F the whole Beast D. I would agree. Like, the Beast looks markedly worse after the transformation. And, like, there are Disney princes that are cute, so I don't think that's the issue. I just think the design they had for Human Beast is real bad and generic.
A lot of times, the public consciousness just will only ever remember the first exposure. And so that's why I believe that...
And that's why Shrek is the superior film, by the way. She turns into an ogre, which is a fun lesson.
And this is where it gets into the magic stuff and the social engineering, and they...
Also, frankly, I think Fiona also looked better as an ogre than she did a human anyway, so... Do I prefer Aladdin? I don't know. I think Aladdin would... Based on Aladdin and Aladdin, the sequels and the TV show is a fucking crazy person who just lies constantly, so that would be a nightmare. Like, have you seen the Aladdin TV show they did for the Disney Channel? He just fucking is gaslighting Jasmine in, like, every other episode.
Study the stuff they know.
You just like his tiny hat. Does the tiny hat stay on?
They know that it's so important to have the first word on things. And I think that's why they're so heavy-handed with censoring people who talk about things that are going on in the news, like right now. It's because they so heavily need people to get that first. They don't want people 5 seconds after an event happens to hear, hey, it's not real. That is like kryptonite. So if you're still here watching this video, did you get the plane thing? The initial thing with the plane and the helicopter, the initial thought to my head was, oh, I imagine that the helicopter was just a drone helicopter. And I start thinking of the logistics of it and how they love putting on psyops. Go back to the early age, it's smashing trains together. It's like they're decommissioning the steam trains. Let's smash them together instead.
What?
I think that's probably what they do. It was probably a drone helicopter that needed to be decommissioned. It was probably a drone airplane, full-sized airplane, which I believe...
Nope, like 60-something people passed away, so maybe take it seriously.
They probably have both of these, and they probably admit to having both of these. I think they were being decommissioned, and instead of just decommissioning them, it's cooler to have a fireworks display and pull a psyop out of it. Part of me also thought maybe this is some Blue Lodge versus Red Lodge shenanigans. I think that there could be multiple tentacles of the octopus out there performing psyops, and maybe there are people with a lot of power that really do hate Donna, and so... Because the timing is just too perfect.
That's Trump. He calls Donald Trump Donna Trump because he thinks Trump is secretly trans, and he's transphobic. So, in his head, he's misgendering Donald Trump.
It's one of those you can't make this stuff up situations where the whole story of the decommissioning the air traffic, whatever, and the diversity stuff.
Imagine reporting your thoughts as if it's news. That's basically streaming. That's my job.
You can tell it's Clown World stuff. It's like too perfect, the timing. And so anyways, I never even looked into the crash. But then
I never even looked into it, but I'm going to talk about it.
Funnily said something about runway 33. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then what I thought was really interesting was I saw Nancy Kerrigan all of a sudden on my YouTube related to that, and I was like, that is bizarre. Why are they dragging this person back out? And to me, that just instantly, it's like, what reference are they trying to make? What's going on? And
it's just a person. What are you talking about? This is the problem. This is the problem with conspiracy theorists, is they think everything is relevant. There is no noise. There is only signal. Ugh. M. Scheffler says in his head is properly gendering... In his head is properly gendering Trump. Well, he thinks Trump is a trans man. So he would be misgendering Trump by calling Trump Donna. He thinks he'd be dead naming Trump, basically.
I'll talk about that because in the video I saw of that creature, Nancy K, is it C or K? And maybe the initials have something to do. I don't know. Anyways, let me know your theories in the comments. I'm very interested. But there's only so much I can say or show about this
Her
topic.
figure skating troupe was on the plane? Oh, God.
Anyways,
Scheffler says, you're right, my bad. No biggie.
In a little short, a YouTube short I saw of Nancy, they were laughing in a very not in like, some people do have nervous laughter, and I get that, especially at awkward times. I understand that. But no, there was laughter at the beginning that seemed out of place and not like nervous laughter.
I hate when people do this. People react to grief in all sorts of ways. They don't necessarily react like a movie. People will laugh and have weird emotional outbursts that don't feel appropriate. That's the nature of, like, deep grief, is sometimes it doesn't come out the way you expect it to. All I can say to Hans is be lucky that you don't know enough about life to have felt that, I guess. That you don't know that. Paul says, people on Twitter try to insult me by calling me Potato, but it's my nickname. And Stone Corbell says, I always think it's so weird when transphobes try to dead name someone by saying the feminization or masculinization of their current name, because in my experience, almost no trans people choose a name that is just the opposite gender version of their given name. True. So it happens sometimes.
The acting seemed subpar to me, and there were multiple instances where Nancy talked about the alleged victims as if they were still alive today, and 2 times in a YouTube short they did
well,
that.
They died recently, so it's probably pretty hard to still wrap her head around the fact that they're dead.
And that's just like,
rude asshole.
It's one of those things where you know the MO, you know the modus operandi, you know how these people work. One of the way
Hans is dull. Well, there's only a minute left.
These people work is that they will tell you the truth if you just listen to what they say. It's like a little Easter egg for people who know about the game, about the club, people in the club who know how to keep it like a secret. They know these things that, oh yeah, if you listen carefully, they'll tell you exactly what's going on. They know these things like duping delight, duper's delight. They knew about gaslighting before it was a social phenomenon, before everybody knew about it.
Gaslighting comes from a movie from, hold on. Gaslighting comes from the movie Gaslight that came out in 1940. So this, like, an 85-year-old movie.
These things were known about, and right, I've had psyops. They knew about psyops. There's a whole group of Orange 33ers walking around you, probably your boss, etc., who have known about Hogwarts this entire time. Now, they don't always know everything and how deep it is. A lot of the castrati, the extent of their knowledge is lip gloss and high heels and stuff. So,
yep, that's all I think about all day. Yep, lip gloss and high heels. That's all I think about. I'm just be nice to yourself, be nice to yourself, be nice to yourself.
Don't feel too bad about it.
Oh.
And there's never a better time than now to learn about this stuff, so. Well, that's it for this ramble. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed. God bless everyone.
Well, that's Hans. What a confusing video. He was all over the place with that one. Find literally anything else, shall we? Literally anything else. Did we try the Inner Earth Reptilian message yet? Quick train cleanse. Let's see what it is.
Minnesota State Fair today to see the thrill of thrills. 2 speeding locomotives in a spectacular head-on crash. And here's one of them, the NRA Special, on her way. The other engine, named Old Man Depression, is starting too. Man, oh man, this is going to be the battle of the century, all right. The engineers put on full steam and jump to safety. Faster and faster the drivers roll. Here she comes, right at us. Watch them come together.
Green Guy says, Hannah, have you heard of Murder, She Wrote? Same girl was Gaslight. Angela Lansbury? I like Murder, She Wrote. Same people made Columbo, and I'm a big Columbo fan.
It is! Look out! Wow, some smash. I'm glad it's all in fun.
That video is weird, all in one ear. Yeah, it's mono, but it's mixed to stereo. Sorry, I didn't realize it was like that. Otherwise, I could have converted it to stereo. But I only have one headphone in, so I didn't realize, and I wasn't looking at my audio mixer visualizer. Sorry.
To best prepare yourself for what comes next, we encourage you to, for a time, suspend your belief and disbelief regarding what you know or think you know about the universe, Earth history, God, the gods, creation, creator, or that which may be termed source. Get ready for one wild, mind-expanding experience as we continue with part 2 of our interview with George Kavasilis.
Before we began, you told me about a diplomatic correspondence letter that you got from the Dracos. So now would be a good time.
The Dracos. He pronounced it weird, but he said Dracos, Dracos. They're effectively reptilian aliens. So you can go ahead and put reptilians on the bingo card and believes they speak to aliens regularly on the bingo card.
Time for you to just kind of like read that out and we can discuss that letter and its significance. So yeah, why don't you begin with, when did you get this letter, or how did you come about getting this letter?
Yeah, this is this is really important, what I'm about to share with you folks, because this is the crypto terrestrials reaching out to us. And I had a meeting, or
They're planets on the blockchain.
Several meetings with this a particular Draco about 20 years ago. His name's Draco Zon. And
his name's Draco Zon? Wouldn't that be like if my name was Human Hannah?
He asked me to write this down as a communication to our human race from the crypto.
They're basically Dragonborn, yes. D&D Dragonborn, not Elder Scrolls Dragonborn, for clarity.
Terrestrial, interdimensional as well. Crypto terrestrial, interdimensional species. The energy of it, as you would expect, is pretty heavy. It's from a Draco. It's very blunt, very matter of fact. And I just ask everybody to take that into consideration.
Fun world building. The reptilian species is blunt. That's the kind of thing a person writes.
Consideration as you're listening. Okay.
They're characterizing people. They're characterizing. Pay attention. This is how Star Trek works.
Here goes. A message of life from the perspective of a interdimensional reptilian friend.
Dimensions beyond our own on the bingo card.
Okay.
We'll take a look at the bingo card after this video, by the way. We've not looked in a bit.
And this is where we must not be racist. Seriously. Just realize you're dealing with a different culture.
Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, no! What is he about to put on a fucking alien species? What is he about to say that he's gonna blame on reptilians? Here we go.
You may wish to consider the fact that we have inhabited and somewhat dominated this planet for hundreds of millions of years.
Oh, I see what he's saying. We can't be racist to them, even though they're very proud about subjugating the human race. It's okay, I'm not upset about it, it's not true. Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, Angela wasn't 18 when they started filming Gaslighting, so they had to, it was just called Gaslight, by the way, so they had to film the beginning and the end, so she was 18 to film one of the early scenes. I didn't know that.
Before your species even arrived here. And to put things into larger perspective, the insectoids preceded us, and the microorganisms and bacteria, etc., preceded our insectoid friends.
Microorganisms, insectoids, reptilians, mammals. Boom. That's sound. That's sound. Next is apes, as we all know. Maybe dolphins. Hydrate. I can do that.
And so on it goes.
Has anyone seen the film Day of the Dolphin? Just me? That's a shame.
We have learnt to live in what we consider harmony with our friends in other realms. The reptilian-human relationship is different. The reptilian-human relationship, particularly the Earth-human relationship, is different. Distinctively different to any other species within the known universe. No other two species are having a relationship in which the outcome of the relationship impacts on life so...
Why does this reptilian sound like Donald Trump? Like, can't you just picture this in his voice? No other species in the entire universe has the relationship that humans and reptilians have. It's the best relationship, let me tell you.
So greatly in the known universe. The energy vibration which is created as a result of our interactions has been magnified by the creator, that means the universal creator intelligence, and reverberates throughout the known universe. In fact, it interferes with the morphogenetic fields of all other races.
Oh, the morphogenetic fields. Why didn't I think of that?
Interesting. The importance of the relationship between our species cannot be underestimated. We, the reptilians, and you, the Earth humans, are key players in the Creator's plan for all life in the known universe. We are all, underline all, going through changes. We have evolved greatly in the past 800 million years. If you look at our form when we dominated the Earth physically, as you have discovered through our bones, and it's kind of like a shortcut.
Are they saying that dinosaur bones, like fossils, or fossilized dinosaur bones, are reptilians?
For the mind, we had adopted incredibly well to a sometimes harsh environment. Some of us decided to remain in physical form and limited awareness, but some of us decided to evolve, and wow, what a journey it has been.
Decided to evolve. That's how that
Currently,
works.
we have different levels of evolution within our species, just like you have within yours.
Oh!
Therefore, not all of our kind...
worry, racist undertones! Racist undertones!
...and are in physical form. I, Draco Zon, am in what you would term non-physical form. I reside in a realm that you humans know as the fourth density, the high end, to be more specific.
Why don't they ever channel Groppler Zorn? Where's my boy Zorn?
Our reality, to put it simply, is of a non-molecular structure in relation to yours. The life force energy, or in its true form, light frequency, or the unconditional love of the Creator, as you humans have called it, vibrates at different levels, at a different level to yours. So as the atoms vibrate to the life force frequency of your density, they then attract each other in a way that they create form which is different to yours. Our atoms don't create molecules. Very interesting. Because we know that the vibrational rate of a molecule determines the density of matter.
Right, but is he saying our atoms don't create molecules? I mean, I don't understand what he means by that.
In his world, in his reality.
Guys, this Draco isn't a scientist. Cut him some slack. He's their communications guy.
The high-end fourth density that they live and operate in, that reside in, they don't have molecules in that realm.
If you can't,
what do you mean they don't have molecules?
Atoms do not create molecules.
The fuck do you mean they don't have? What do you mean they don't have molecules? What are you talking about?
Have organic beings or life then, if you can't have molecules? Are we talking about light beings made out of light as opposed to atoms and molecules?
When you're in these realms that are structured differently,
have we had poor understanding of Eastern religion yet? Have we? Does anyone else remember? Oh, that see no evil, speak no evil, do no evil thing is from Japan, so we can count that.
That density, they call it density here. Like, it's very dense. It's that dense third dimension is very dense, all that type of talk. And it's because of the vibration, the rate of vibration of the molecules. It's the way the planet has set it up, the planetary intelligence, okay? Now, when you go into another dimension, another frequency, you could look at a reality. There might be a table.
Would that count as expert acts as an expert outside of his field if he's not a scientist? No.
Yeah, there might be.
Fictional characters don't count.
A plant or something, but the structure of it, it's totally different. It's not as thick and it's not as dense, but they're still there. It's a different state of being in another dimensional realm. Every time I go into another dimension, it's vastly different. And then you come back into this one, it's like, sludging through mud, just trying to lift your arm, just trying to move through the realm. It's very, very different to other dimensions. So anyway, I'll does that help at all?
Okay. Well, yeah, just to, so when you go into the fourth and fifth dimension and you see forms or life forms or structures, we are talking about life forms or structures that are formed not out of molecules, but out of something else, like photons.
Yeah. And it's just structuring reality different. It's like, trying to look for an analogy.
Like a hologram. Like a hologram here is ethereal, you can put your hand through it, but in the fourth density, that hologram would be like a solid.
What does that even mean? You're just saying words. What do you mean the hologram would be like a solid? Why is it a hologram? Neener is meaner called bingo? Sweet. Can I see your bingo card? Take the URL at the top of your bingo card and paste it in chat.
True. Yeah. Because of the photon particles, the way they vibrate. It's the rate of the vibration.
The rate of the vibration.
I mean, the rate of the spin of our atoms determines the vibration of the molecule, which then determines the density of matter. If you want to levitate or walk through a wall, just change the rate of the spin of your atoms with your intention.
Just change the rate of the spin of your atoms via intention, you idiot. Obviously. H-Baird says, hologram, please state the nature of the nonsense emergency. Flat Earth, transphobia, transvestigation, free space, poor understanding of Eastern religion, vibes-based conspiracy. Did we have... Yep, he did transvestigate or transphobe at least Donald Trump. So yes, you win. Neener is meaner. Congrats. I'll write down your name. You are the official bingo winner for today. Hooray.
Walk through a wall. That's what I did. I can't do it here now, but that's what when I got taken to the moon, that's what I did.
I'm sorry, what?
It's how you walk through a wall. It's how a yogi levitates, It's that altering your spin of the atoms. The power's in the spin, right? It's all over your shirt. The power's in the spin. And it's all about the that being able to adjust the rate of the spin, and it's the flavor of the spin. It's not just a numbered frequency. This is the problem with numbers and geometry. The spin has to have a flavor and intention behind it. You know what I mean?
The spin has to have a flavor.
And it has to be included in the co-creative process of the realm and the reality. So once we start getting into these things about creation and structure and how we go about doing things, very different to the way we've been trained throughout our lives. If you want to operate with love, honor, and respect, to creation, then basically everything we're doing in our societal infrastructure is totally the opposite to what needs to be done, basically. All right. Okay to keep going with the...
Yes, please.
Okay. So as that, where is it? Our reality, to put it simply, is of a non-molecular structure in relation to yours. The life force energy, or in its true form, light frequency, or creator, as you humans have called it, unconditional love, vibrates at a different level to yours. So they have their own expression of unconditional love, but the flavor of it's different and the structure of it's different.
Okay, I'm ejecting out of this word salad. Let's take a look at the bingo card. There was already a winner, but we can update the card. Uses AI. Spurious symbology is evidence. Believes they speak to aliens regularly. Recording. We had recording in car. Vibes-based conspiracy. Accidentally based. Dimensions beyond our own. Vampires. Word salad. Transphobia, transvestigation. This rock tree mountain was a human. Hannah puts head in hands. Psyop. Poor understanding of Eastern philosophy, religion. Reptilians. That's not how women work. Illuminati, Freemasons, Cabal. And Hannah regrets something she just said. Think that catches us up? May have missed one or two. Let me know if there are any off the top of your head that you see. Ever do game streams? Would I ever play this? I have not played a game stream in quite a while. And this game is Thank Goodness You're Here. I've not heard of it, but I can add it to my wish list and maybe do it sometime. Okay, continuing. We probably have about a half an hour-ish. Green Guy says, so no wish list? Not right now. I'm afraid people are going to send me more Blu-rays that I don't have room for at the moment. But, try this one. This is called Da Vinci's Secret Visit to Egypt.
Stargate Voyager.
Well, I'm really excited to be joined by author, inventor, explorer, host of...
What did this guy invent? What did he invent? He's an inventor. What did he invent?
Gaia's Codex.
Show me an invention.
Series and really so much more. Robert Edward Grant, you've got so much to share, so I'm really just going to turn it over to you, and I'll ask you some questions along the way, and just really honored to have you, Robert, and take it from here.
Great to be here with you, and exciting. You know, I've been a follower of your content and everything on Instagram for a few years now. The night my son was born, I was waiting because my wife had an epidural and she was trying to sleep and everything. And while she was trying to sleep and she wasn't, feeling the contractions anymore, I decided, I kept having this image in my head of the Vitruvian Man. So I drew this sketch of it just from memory. And what was really remarkable was when I placed this, without having to be able to see the Vitruvian Man, when I placed this over the real Vitruvian Man as an overlay, the proportions are identical. It's nuts.
Is that nuts, or are you just an okay drawer who has a visual memory of what the Vitruvian Man looks like? Like, you're not acting like you've never seen the Vitruvian Man before this. You're just saying you have seen it, and then you drew it. Okay, that's a thing you can do.
But basically what I realized is that the center of the square to the corner of the square would of course give you a 45-degree angle here, right? That'd be a 45-degree angle. But if you took the center of the circle to the upper right corner, it turns out to be the same as the slope angle as the Great Pyramid.
What the fuck are you talking about?
5184, which is unique because this is not even a squaring of the circle. And it looks a little bit misshapen here because this was just taken with my iPhone, but it's actually straight. It's just the way that the angle of the camera was when this photo was taken. So 5184, I knew immediately then this is the pyramid. So then if you place the pyramid inside here, it's going to give you, right, with the square, it's going to give you that 5184 as well. So then I did this, took this a step further, and I worked on this with Alan Green. And I immediately saw, as you could see here, I was drawing circles, right, inside the body as representations of chakras as well. Well, we placed the Great Pyramid over in the exact right proportion.
You put a triangle. Let's not overstate this. You did not put the Great Pyramid. You drew a triangle.
Found that the chambers were exactly matching the location of horizontal lines that Da Vinci placed on the Vitruvian Man. You can see there's 2 on the knees here, which means probably there's chambers down there, deep beneath the Great Pyramid. Okay. Wow. And you could see there's a line at the groin, which is exactly matching the subterranean chamber. The navel is matching the ground level. There is a line here on the body, just as you can see lines here on the arms. We think that each of these lines have significance. And in fact, when you read the paragraph that's above it, it says that that the man must be cut into 1/14 or 14 parts. You see this right here? It's in backwards mirrored text. So 1/14, right at the top of the screen. Now, where else do we find someone being cut into 14 parts?
Is he going to talk about the woman in the Bible who was a sex worker who was cut up and then sent to different leaders of the tribes of Israel?
That's the story of Osiris.
No, okay, this is a different thing.
Osiris was cut into 14 parts by his brother Set. And then, basically spread all around the land. And Isis had the job of trying to find all the parts and put him back together again so he could be resurrected. And they never found the last part, which is his penis. Right. So then she gave him an upgrade and turned one into crystal for him, which then they ended up having their son Horus. Right. Which was kind of an interesting mythology story. But what we found is that
people are saying Osiris was 7, not 14.
The Da Vinci.
I don't know anything about it, so we'll have to trust that.
Basically gave us is giving us the locations of the chakra points. So then that means that where he also drew other lines here and here.
Alexa, thanks for following.
Must be potentially other chambers that are yet unrevealed or unknown.
No, it was 14.
You can also notice that the air shafts are also framing the arm, right, of the Vitruvian Man.
What?
That's crazy.
Does this mean that Da Vinci had access to a map? Now, what was he doing in Egypt in the first place? Well, he was missing from Italy for 3 years, from 1482 to 1486. And, no one knows where he...
Green guy with the dollar tip just says, Hannah, 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 Hannah. We did it.
It was during that time. And the Vitruvian Man was the first piece of art that came after that period of time. So what we have, then posited was this is telling us something. Da Vinci must have had a map. We know that he went to Egypt because he chronicled it in this.
Or maybe he was just doing a study of symmetry, man. Maybe it was a study of the human form and also bilateral symmetry, my guy.
Letter he wrote to the Devatdar lieutenant of the Sultan of Cairo, Sultan Kate Bey. And he wrote it, and that letter still remains today as Article 1336 and 1337 inside the Codex Atlanticus, which is one of the compendiums of his work that was left to his assistant Salai, and now is with us today, right? It's the most significant of his compendiums of notebook work. Every polymath throughout history went to Egypt. Whether it's Pythagoras and Plato, Democritus, Aristophanes, Theon, you name it. Basically, all the Greek philosophers all spent significant time in Egypt.
Okay, Leonardo da Vinci was not a Greek philosopher. They're completely different eras in human history. I get it. Fucking Italy. I get it. But, like, they're not the same era, even a little bit.
Up to 30 years there. So this was so that they could attend the Egyptian mystery schools. And so at the same time, Sultan Kate Bey, during the Renaissance, reached out to several, because the Hermetic text had just been released. And the year before Da Vinci was born was a major shift, because the Hermetic texts were released from the Vatican libraries. They allowed them to go all around Europe, and that had a huge impact on the people at the time. And it
Okay, done with that. What else do we have?
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Joseph. Guys, I got a huge confirmation video for you here. I just went live a couple hours ago, and we connected.
Just a Peach with a tip says, what is under the pyramid? Bad spelling. The water table, because the Nile was way closer when they were built. I actually didn't know
the song American Pie to the number 222. And guys, there's a movie called American Pie, and I want to show you how American Pie, the movie, connects to the number 222. So, long story short, the song American Pie was inspired by the plane crash on February 3rd, 1959, known as the day the music died, when Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper, they were all killed in a plane crash. Okay? So, the other big plane crash date in history is obviously September 11th, right? So the song American Pie is about a plane crash. And
the Gematria of Stifler's mom.
11, obviously a date connected to plane crashes, right? Well, the movie American Pie came out July 9th, 1999. That means the movie American Pie came out 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days before 9/11. The song American Pie about a plane crash, right? 9/11 involving planes.
9/11 out of nowhere on the bingo card. This is a stretch. Yeah, planes exist. Just because one song is about a plane crash doesn't mean it's about all plane crashes. Strange syncretism.
So 9/11 was 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days after the movie American Pie came out. Okay? Now, what if I told you that American Pie came out 22 weeks and 2 days after the anniversary of that plane crash, the day the music died, which inspired the song American Pie? So, we have a double confirmation, guys. I just went live connecting American Pie to the number 222 because we've had all these plane incidents this week, and they've all been connected to the number 222, as I'm going to show you. So this is just crazy confirmation. 9/11.
I hate the Gematria stuff.
With the plane crashes, that was 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days after the movie American Pie was released. And American Pie was released 22 weeks and 2 days from the anniversary of the plane crash, the day the music died. And why does the 222 matter? Well, of course, in Gematria, order out of chaos equals 222, and COVID was declared a pandemic exactly 222 months after 9/11.
He sat down and Googled that. Come on.
And they called it Wuhan coronavirus, which equals
what?
222.
No one called it that. No one called it that. You had to find some extra word to throw in there to make it twos. You hack. You absolute fucking hack.
And the first U.S. case of COVID was 222 days from Trump's birthday. And Trump equals 222.
Trump's birthday? What are you just arbitrarily looking for random things with 2 in them? It's so obvious what you're doing. You're typing in 50 things, and then you find one that has 2s in it, and you go, that one's proof. Not how this works.
And Trump just won the election 222 days.
It doesn't make 222. It depends. There are different kinds of gematria. So I don't know what kind of gematria he's using. Or at least according to conspiracy theorists, there's different kinds of gematria.
From his birthday. And Obama tested positive 222 days from his birthday. And in the live stream, we connected this number 222 to Obama in a big way because the song American Pie, it was performed for the first time on Pi Day, March 14th. 1971, and American Pie was performed for the first time 222 days from Obama's birthday. And I also mentioned that we're going to have a blood moon eclipse on Pi Day coming up 222 days from Obama's birthday. The same guy who tested positive for COVID 222 days from his birthday. The Antichrist Barack Obama 222. The Beast of Revelation, 222. Antichrist System, 222. Order Out of Chaos, 222. Now, we just had the incident at the Chicago airport, Obama's old stomping grounds. Remember, the zip code of that airport was 6066.
I don't know if you know this, but Chicago is one of the most populated cities in the country. A lot of people are from there or have lived there at one point or another.
6. And that was at the O'Hare Airport. And that happened 222 days from the anniversary of 9/11.
Thanks, Harold Ebelman.
And O'Hare equals 222.
I'll save that in case
it was
we
the
need it
O'Hare
for something.
Airport. And the O'Hare Airport is named after Edward O'Hare. And the birthday of Edward O'Hare is 222 days from Obama's birthday. And then we had the plane crash in Philadelphia 222 days before the mayor's birthday and 222 days after the president of Mexico's birthday. And that matters because everyone on the plane was allegedly from Mexico. And the little girl...
Delusional people are obsessed with Obama. They are. A lot of it's obviously racism, but I think some of it's unintentional racism in the sense that conspiracy theorists really tend to note when something breaks a pattern, and they find false significance in that break-in pattern. So, like, you get, white guy, white guy, white guy, white guy, white guy, white guy, 40-something presidents, and then you get Obama. They go, that's different. I have to look into this.
Girl on the plane was staying at Shriners Hospital, which equals 222.
A black man becoming president broke a lot of people's brains, like my dad's. Haven't talked to him in quite a few years, which is good.
And then the plane that hit the helicopter, that was flight 5342. When you write it out, 5342, it equals 222. And then we had the United Airlines flight in Houston that was going to make its way to New York City. And that happened on February 2nd, 222 days before the anniversary of 9/11, including the end date. That was United Airlines flight, which equals 222. Trying to get to New York, 222. And this happened on February 2nd, which equals 222. That was the plane in Houston.
How many hours did he plug random numbers shit into Gematria to find numbers? I think they sit there and do this like all day. I'm not saying they don't have a show or music or something on in the background, but like, it's gotta be all day. I've seen so many of these people who are obsessed with the Gematria stuff, and it just seems like they sit there all day, every word they think of, every phrase, typing it into something. and they don't realize that they're looking for something, they're gonna find it. If you look hard enough and don't take into account how often you get nothing, you're just gonna notice the hits. And they're not even really hits, you just perceive them as such, you know?
That caught on fire. And then, don't forget, not too long ago, we had the 38 people killed in the Azerbaijan Airlines plane that crashed in Kazakhstan. And the president of Kazakhstan, his birthday, May 17th. So that plane crash was 222 days after his birthday. And notice that plane crash was 222 days before Obama's birthday. So, anyways, guys, how's that for a confirmation?
It's not. Freyline says it's one of the reasons why they focus on Hillary, because she was a very politically ambitious first lady in a different way than most any other first lady. Yeah.
Went live talking about American Pie and the number 222. And now I find out the movie American Pie, it just happened to come out 2 years, 2 months, 2 days before 9/11, when the song American Pie is about a plane crash. And you're telling me American Pie, the movie, came out 22 weeks and 2 days after the anniversary of the plane crash, the day the music died?
Sure.
That inspired the song American Pie. Wow.
Sure.
So, anyways, guys, hopefully you can see it's all connected. I think it's pretty...
This is what conspiracy theorists often mean when they say it's all connected, by the way. So if you ever hear him say that, no, it's not. What is this?
The most important facts for us and the American people to understand are the facts that haven't been...
Ooh, I can't play that thing in there later. That's not great. That's about Trump, and I don't want to look at that. Don't know if I have anything short enough for another video. Maybe we'll just call it. We're almost at 4 hours.
It's Richie from Boston. It's the 27th. It's January. And I was out in the desert for the last 3 nights, and holy cow.
No, it wasn't a slur. I think it was a dead body.
Was it cold?
Can't show you dead bodies. Sorry if you were looking for a Stand By Me stream.
And snowing. Unbelievably cold and snowing. And I came back into town because my parts are supposed to be here for my truck. And lo and behold, instead of being here today like they were supposed to, there's been a delay along the way. So, once again, I had to figure out whether it was cheaper to stay in a hotel room. This hotel hooked me up. They hooked me up for literally the tank, for the amount that it would cost me for a tank of gasoline, super unleaded because I'm supercharged. I could stay here and record a video for a day or two. So that was an absolute score. It's nice having friends. It's nice getting out and meeting people. You see what I'm saying? And speaking of getting out and meeting people, I'm not putting anybody on blast here, but this story popped up the other day from this exact YouTuber, who I've told you about before, but here's the deal. He's putting out this story for the second day in a row, and an unsettling message was spotted on Google Earth. It says, help. It says Traffico. And there's a train station right here that goes underground, and then the river's right over here, and the highway. And what this YouTuber is intimating is not only has he solved this case, which he hasn't in any way whatsoever at all, but he sure has gotten a lot of views on it in the last 2 days. And this is a traditional Jason A title, okay? He's saying that he solved the case because he's using information from 2018, things like this, you know, and then these are the signs. So when I first saw it posted, I thought there may be some validity to it, and I left a comment saying, dude, shoot me those coordinates because I'm driving, but I'll go over there myself and check it out. Well, of course, he never answered me because why would you, right?
What, are you saying people just go on the internet and lie? That's crazy talk.
I took the coordinates and went there. You know what all this is? It's exactly what it looks like. It's a hoax. It's to get attention, and it has. It has. And people are like, oh no, but there was just a raid over there today. There was a raid, but it wasn't in the same location whatsoever at all, and it was completely different. It was perfume, drugs, shoes, things of that nature, but it wasn't the same location. But the internet doesn't care, and they're running with it anyways. So what I'm saying here is, first of all, any bit of discernment. I'm driving when I'm looking at this. So while I'm reading this, I'm looking at my iPhone, okay? So it's small. And I'm thinking, I'll go check that out, no problem, because if that's legit, someone needs to shine a light on it. Well, it's not legit. It's a hoax. And upon looking at it on a regular laptop, you really think if people are getting smuggled off the train tracks, they're getting smuggled, put into trucks, and then
this guy's a conspiracy theorist, but like he is, yeah.
Shipped out. You really think they'd have the opportunity to do this and the people that were smuggling them wouldn't notice that it says help absolutely everywhere? You know what I mean? It even says it on billboards and such. It's all over the place. So, I mean, this is the whole internet's freaking out about this. And
not the whole internet, just the real gullible part, which unfortunately is a pretty large part, but
it's not real. It's a hoax. It's a hoax. Yes. I mean, it's
always interesting to me when conspiracy theorists accurately point out other fake conspiracies, but they can't do it to themselves. How strange.
It's a hoax. You think the traffickers wouldn't notice this? You think the authorities wouldn't notice it? You think just the internet would notice this? My point being is we're at a very pivotal time in America right now, and you either need to understand that this is a complete and utter fight between God Almighty, the Most High, and Satan. And they're fighting over your soul. They're not fighting over clickbait and views. And make sure you subscribe and make sure you share this, and any engagement will get us more views and this, that, and the other thing.
I'm on the side of the demiurge, actually.
It's fun to play truther, but these people aren't truthers. They're simply posting whatever pops up in TikTok. One guy said the fog showed up and I got sick. So everyone's getting sick from the fog. It's not what's...
They're not. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's also people lying.
What's going on? We're playing...
Or mass hysteria. Lots of lying, though.
With bigger things here. And a lot of us have been doing this a really long time. And another guy, I'm going to point him out again. Yep, it's this guy. Because this is bad. This is crazy. This is terrible. This is bad. This is wild. This is crazy. This is coming. This is coming.
Yeah, it's clickbait.
And every time he does a live stream, people are sending him money through the live stream. That's all this is about, okay? I'm pretty sure just by listening to him, you should understand that he's completely full of hokum. He's pointing out this. I found a secret window in an FBI restricted mountain in Arizona. A secret window. What he saw is one of bazillions of caves. Absolutely, there are military bases, but you know what? They're not where you can see them from a
I love when conspiracy theorists call out other conspiracy theorists.
Boat in a river passing by. These are all mine shafts or just caves that they have to either bar up so that people don't fall down to them. How do I know? Well, I don't know. Maybe because I've been out there a million times. Maybe because I almost died one time climbing a mountain face going up to a old cliffside dwelling from bazillion years ago, climbing all the way up this mountain. This was way up.
Okay. Okay. I've had my limit of internet nonsense for the day. That's a noise of relief. Chumbawamba and credit to the nation, enough is enough. Look that up. I can't play that. I can't play that for copyright reasons, but look that song up and play it. Fuck yeah, Chumbawamba. Based. Alright, let's see who we're gonna rate on Twitch. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me and watching Tinfoil today. I will be back tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is the anime stream, so it's going to be a Twitch-only stream. We're either going to start at 4 or 5, Not sure what time yet, but I'll let you know on the Discord, so make sure you join the Discord if you haven't already. Here's the link. And then Sunday will be the puppet stream. I haven't quite decided exactly what we're going to be looking at for the puppet stream yet. Obviously, I'll have a puppet, but what are we going to watch? Is it going to be puppet stuff? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let me see. Casfell's live. VC Archives is like, wow, VC Archives has a lot of people. Great VC.
Love story ever told.
Do, 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 do. Oh, duh, that's the wrong thing. Alright, have a good night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for the anime stream. Green Guy says, so just Avatar The Last Airbender tomorrow, the only anime. True! Alright, night, everyone.